You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Core blimey, that's brilliant, innit?
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waste. From deep within the core, gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 473rd edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, I've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, governor, how goes it?
Hey, Gav. We doing our best impressions?
There's a reason I don't voice act my character in the game. And that would be part of it right there.
Hello, love. And we've also got Ray. Are you ready to do your best Cockney? Here we go. Welcome, Ray.
Howdy, howdy.
Oh, come on. No, good day, love. Top of the morning. Say no more, say no more. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink. Tonight on the show, we will be doing bad British impressions all night long. Welcome, everybody. No.
I am chuffed for all your impressions.
We'll be doing some gameplay off the top as per usual. I've got a couple of game times set up, Map of the Wasteland and Map of the Wasteland version 2, if you guys want to. We've got some iguana bits. I hear there's been some sort of gaming event or something going on, Jess. She'll tell us all about it here.
Just something shaking up the gaming world, like a kind of quake or something.
I don't know. I feel the earth move under my feet. And
Sky tumbling down.
Got a couple of shouts on the way out the door. So why don't we go ahead and roll into it and see what everybody's been getting into. Ray, I had a chance to listen to the most recent edition of the Butcher Baker Candlemaker in Space. Always very enjoyable. Sounds like you guys are having a blast over there. So why don't you go ahead and let us know what you've been playing this week, sir.
Well, definitely been keeping up with the No Man's Sky community milestones. So hop in the game, kill a bunch of creatures, hop back out. We're almost done. We've completed 4 of the 5 challenge levels.
And that's sort of reminiscent of the where it's a community project where everyone has to pitch in to do stuff, and then you reach certain levels to achieve rewards or something. Like sort of Fallout 76 did a while back.
I don't know about that, but they've done it a few times in No Man's Sky. So right now we're unlocking armor pieces for our robot companions. So you can have a big robot mech that will follow you around and shoot at stuff, or you can hop in and drive it yourself.
He's your buddy and your car.
Exactly.
That's fun.
That sounds awesome. Like riding Vasco.
I don't want to ride Vasco.
Except it's pretty handy because when you get in, you're immune to, the either radioactive or chemical or heat or cold damage that you're the planet is trying to kill you with. So get into your Minotaur and you're protected. So that's pretty handy.
That's great. Must
That's
be lead
cool.
lined or something. Good deal.
Does it have full AI? Like, can you talk to it like a companion, or does it just follow you around until you use it?
It just follows you around.
Okay.
And if you're engaged with enemies, it engages the enemies, provided you've equipped it with a cannon. So
it really is more of a mech suit then?
yeah, very much so. It's big. It's probably almost twice as tall as you are.
Okay, that's cool. That's
especially if you're a Gek.
Yeah, got to be 4 or 5 times your height.
Yeah.
I think about the mech suits in Starfield and how much bigger they are than a regular person. Is it like that kind of? Or bigger?
No, probably just a little, about half that size.
Okay, cool.
Like Ripley's mech suit, an alien.
Yeah, more like that. So that's going well. We just recorded another episode this morning, so we'll have that out.
Oh, awesome! Excited.
Anybody that listened to the last episode knows what Jen's going through right now.
Yeah, is her thumb any better?
Yeah, she's
good.
We talked about that on the in the new show
with her tennis ball thing. Ugh, trying to shoot and balance and do everything one-handed. Rough.
Been playing a little bit of Starfield, a little bit of Skyrim, but a lot of London.
There we go. There we go. There's the Fallout I've been waiting for.
Top of the morning, Gav.
We
gotta do it, guys. Come on.
I don't really have a good idea of exactly how many hours because I don't. So according to the Good Old Games page, when I open it up, I played for 34 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not tracking it right. I guess that's what happens when you open a different way.
Yeah, but at some point I had opened it up in the last day or so, and it had me clocked in at just a little over 50 hours. That's a little bit.
You put in a full week of overtime in there.
But I started looking for the beer coasters.
Right. Yeah. As an objective in the game, because beer coasters are kind of like bobbleheads, because they are magazines. So they're not really magazine analogs. They are more like bobbleheads where they improve a skill.
Yeah.
But not your special like bobbleheads, right? Is there
No,
anything
they
that
do.
improves special? They do, some of them.
There's one for each special.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
So there's 30 in all. And by the time I got done gathering all those, I had been everywhere on the map.
That is brilliant. Sorry, core blimey, that's brilliant in it. That's awesome. There you go.
Thank you.
But that's so many. I did not realize you got that far with them.
Yeah. So, and I had started doing the main quest line. Because at first I needed to cure my lab rat. Because any debuff bugs me. And so I had to get through whatever I had to get through, and boy was it stuff you had to get through in order to cure that. And then at that point it got me into Westminster because you have to be on the list. You can't just go.
Because that's where the Gentry are based out of, right? The Gentry faction?
Yep.
Okay.
But every time I got to the train crash in Westminster, my game would crash. So I didn't have the first train crash, but I did have the second train crash.
That's a crash.
And I couldn't get anywhere near it. Fortunately, I could get all the way around the outskirts of Westminster because that got me to the bar that has the beer coaster in Westminster. But I am happy to report that with the hot fix today, I got through it, picked up what I needed to pick up at the train crash, and now I'm getting petitions signed to get me entry into Parliament.
Oh, wait, entry into Parliament? Like, wait, not actually like as a member of Parliament. Or are you running for Parliament?
No, I'll actually go in
Just
to
want
be
to be allowed
able to
in.
address Parliament.
Is it like the Mages Guild in Oblivion then, where you got to get a letter from each of the heads of every city's Mages Guild to get in the main one?
Yep. just
There we
like
go.
that.
Cool.
Will you be required to attire yourself in a powdered wig?
That remains to be seen.
I
Probably a
hope so.
bowler. They love their bowlers.
Nice, a bowler and a cane, please. If not a top
Andrew,
hat.
quick aside, the
Monocle.
hats
Monocle is a must, Ray.
in this game, the hats, Ray, I mean, total milliner heaven, right? Like there are so many different hats and styles.
There are a lot of hats.
A
So many hats,
haberdasher's
Andrew.
dream.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I recently traded in my taxidermy hat, which was my little wolf head.
Oh, your
And
coyote head. What are you doing?
Yeah, yep.
I
and
hope.
so now I've got what looks a lot like which it's one of the Raider factions in Nuka World.
Pack.
No, not the pack or
the
the
descendants. No.
operators. It's
And the disciples and the pack.
the scary ones.
Yeah, disciples.
Yeah. So it's a full face cover
Oh, okay. So you're talking about the wolf head.
in a
Yeah.
cowl. So I look very intimidating and very sneaky.
Well, please tell me you're still at least wearing your skin cape.
Ew.
No. I'm just wearing a regular cape now because it's black.
Because it was smelly.
Yeah, the other one was definitely smelly and crusty.
Ew.
Ew.
He didn't tan the leather appropriately.
But it's definitely cool. I've been through every place. Right now I'm trying to get the signature of the leader of Brixton, which now goes by something completely different. Brickton.
It was Brixton. Now it's Brickton.
Yeah.
So not completely different.
That's hilarious.
But he's an interesting character. Everybody will have to meet this guy at some point. He is definitely worth a visit. I went to Camden and found my people. That's where the Pistol Gang is.
The
And
Pistol Gang.
they're all the punk rockers.
Okay, cool. So like after the Sex Pistols
And we don't care.
or what have you. See, I saw people mention the Pistols. I didn't know who or what they were.
Oh,
But if that's
fun.
the Anarchy crew, that's awesome. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Is that where that
Well,
cool Cyberpunk
and-
cafe is too?
Yes, so the Cyber
Yeah.
Fox.
Cyberfox. Love that.
Yeah. Yes, you do, because that's where you are.
That is where they put my character?
It is.
I was wondering where you found me, and I said, wait till we're on the show to tell me. Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah. As soon as I got into Camden, I said, okay, this is where they have Jess's character at. I
Hell
know
yeah.
it is.
How'd you know that?
Just because it's totally Jess's vibe. And it wasn't until after I had completed their quest line and became a pistol
Mhm.
that you showed up.
Oh, so it's one of those. You know, one of the neat things that they do so much in this game is staging. You know, where there are stages to quest,
Mhm.
stages to locations, and that's often. I mean, some games do that, of course, where you save something and then they rebuild and they're step by step. But it's more common in MMOs. So I've seen that a lot in this game, where the way cities are, the way NPCs are, who populates what, really changes as you go through the quest line.
Yep. So, Camden is definitely a very cool place to hang out. And there's even a quest where you're sent to, and the name of the quest is Guns of Lewiston instead of Guns of Brixton.
Nice.
And the reward for completing the quest is the Clash.
Wait, the vinyl? A vinyl?
No, it's a gun.
Oh, okay. Okay, that works. So many references. I love
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, Camden's definitely cool.
Can't wait to get there. What area of the map is it in? Okay, I don't know London that well, and it's it's not exact. So
Yeah, it's kind of north of downtown. So it's a separate zone, and you have to go all the way up to the top of the kind of the main middle core section of the map.
Mhm.
And you find I think it's the Morning Star Station or something like that, that takes you into Camden.
okay, so you do have to travel once you get to it.
Yeah.
So it's west of Thames Haven, on the very north part.
Well, no, so it's across the river.
Oh, across the river. Okay, my
through
mistake.
the city.
Okay,
So-
that makes more sense. Yeah, so on the very north part. Got it.
Yeah. It's kind of opposite of Trafalgar Square.
Mhm.
So if you just go north from Trafalgar Square, you'll get there.
Okay, perfect. I can picture right where that is then.
Yeah, and
So,
it's
yeah, no
right
wonder.
near. If you're in Islington, when you exit that area after you've completed that quest, that's part of you visit there for the main quest. You end up at a subway station that is right near where the station is to get into Camden.
Mhm.
So
Okay, I'm looking at the map now. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like a lot of the second half of the game or later game sections are across the river. I mean, I assume the lower left too, but is it fair to say that most of the higher level areas are across the river? And
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it just progressively gets harder everywhere you go.
Mhm. No, that makes
Um,
sense. I mean, there's so much. Looking at the map, there's so much. Like, we'll talk about it when I get there, but I've only explored maybe a tenth of it at the very most. So,
Yeah. So I've been all the way down to the southwestern part of the map. I've been to Wimbledon.
Mhm.
I've got that settlement.
Yeah, Wimbledon tennis courts are a settlement, Andrew.
Yeah, it's big too. Lots of ghouls.
Do they have the grass or the clay down?
It must be grass because there's a lot of weeds.
A little overgrown.
And I think Wimbledon's always grass. I think I misspoke when I said that they have a clay there. I think it's only grass, right?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
You'd think a handy would be there keeping it.
Keeping it
Oh,
moved.
that'd be
though.
great.
Mhm.
Wadsworth there trimming the verge.
I'm sure in Westminster, any courts they have are well pruned.
Yeah, Westminster is completely different than everywhere else we go.
You get a feeling like not necessarily Bioshock, although maybe like Bioshock Infinite, which I don't remember if you played or not. But do you get the feeling that it really is like a separate world? Like these are people kind of preserving and living above everybody else? Like the way they talk
Absolutely.
about it? Okay.
I met Alistair Tenpenny.
What?
So hilarious.
I forgot
heard
you
he
said
was
he
in
was
it.
in that. Yeah.
And when you meet him in Fallout 3, he hasn't really changed a bit. So his quest in this game is very much like his quest in 3.
I heard that. He's still concerned about sightlines and such, which, I've heard some people say, oh, it was a chance to do other things. But I like the fact that when you bring someone like that in, you make a strong reference to
Yeah.
to them.
So, what else have I done?
When you were
I went
collecting
into
those, when you were collecting those beer coasters or whatever they're called, I was just doing a little bit of reading about Fallout London, and I read that there's one that instead of enhancing your melee damage or something, it actually hurts it by 50% or something like that. Is that accurate? Did that happen?
It did up until either one, like me, you loaded a mod, or two, like today when they updated the game and fixed all of them.
They had a patch for that. Good.
Half of them were broken, Andrew. Half of the beer coasters were slightly different than they were supposed to be. Yeah, and sometimes it was like a moderate thing. Like the combat one was the worst.
Yeah.
Which is probably the first one most people find too.
Right.
Because it's in the Hound near the starting area. And it was supposed to be a 5% boost to melee. Instead, it was minus 50% to all combat, not just melee. The others are was supposed to be 5%, got 20% boost, or was supposed to apply only to this, applied to that. Like just slight differences, but that one was bad.
I haven't checked my my pickpocketing, but that coaster, it no matter if you have any pickpocketing skill or not, took you to a 90% chance to for successful pickpocket.
Holy shit!
Careful with pickpocketing; you might get nicked.
So I'm definitely struggling with settlement because I'm not investing in local leader, and so none
a bit to get those workbenches.
Yeah, none of them have workbenches. I got, by joining the Pistols, they give you an apartment.
Oh, that's hot.
I'm like, sweet. The apartment has all the workbenches, but the two I need the most, the ammo crafting workbench and the weapons workbench, are both in too tight of a spot, and so they're bugged and you can't use them.
Was that not fixed after the hot fix today?
It was not.
Okay.
Oh, no.
There is a mod called London Fixes that fixes a number of unworkable workbenches where it's just a little bit too close to the geometry on various things. I'm running that one, and she's only adding to it as she goes through the game, so they may not be on there yet. But yeah, some of those are necessary because there are some objects you can't pick up because they're just a little bit too sunk into things, and some workbenches you can't use. But that's got to be a real pain with settlements, knowing that you can't put down the workbenches without the proper skills. And in base 4, there are plenty of settlements that don't, but a couple of main settlements have at least 1 or 2 workbenches as part of it, or right nearby, right?
Yeah. Well, and the first 2 that you get access to have all of them.
Right, exactly. Sanctuary and Red Rocket. Red Rocket doesn't have all of them. I know it's got, it's got the chem, it's got the it's got all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's super useful. Now, I mean, they do have them around town, and you can start to find a circuit like, oh, I've got this here, I've got that there. But I do have to say, not having a real home in a starter area is one of the slightly more difficult things about this mod. It's not even like with Skyrim. You don't really have a place until Bree's home, but we can use Anis's cabin, and we can use we could leave some stuff in Riverwood. You know what I mean? Like, and a few containers that seem safe. But
it's it's definitely a challenge. It gets kind of annoying. So my workaround was that the first settlement that I took was at the airport down south, and so in that space, I have a bed and I have a decontamination arch. And so, I go there, I dump all my stuff into the workbench, then I, clean up and take a nap. I want to work on my armor. There is a little building on your way to the Swan and Miter, that has a bunch that has hooligans in it, and so you kill those hooligans. Well, now you've got an armor workbench and a weapons workbench.
Yep.
And so I go there, I see what I need in order to do whatever modding I need to do. I write down my shopping list. I go back to my settlement. I go into my workbench. I collect all the stuff I need to be able to satisfy all those requirements. Then I go back to the shop, go to the workbench, make my modifications.
Yeah, I'll talk about my method when we get to my gameplay, but it's similar, but I've got a slightly different tactic.
Yeah. And then I go back and dump off all the excess.
Mm-hmm.
But
they ain't got no provisioners in London. No local leader 2.
There's a bunch of them.
You got local leader 2?
No, I don't.
That's why he can't
That's the issue.
build his workbenches. Yep. Which, I mean, Ray, get on it. I know it's a wasted level.
I have other priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Charisma is not one of them.
I'm glad they gave us at least, you got an apartment there. But I do wish there was like some kind of starter player housing, just some place, even the tiniest little shack. Like, give me like Victor's Shack in New Vegas, just a place that has a bed and a chest I know I can toss stuff in without having an issue.
Yeah. Well, one of the first quests, the kind of random quests that you get tacked on your list is to go talk to the dude on the bridge.
The dude on the bridge, Beefy, yeah. And
is he a beef eater?
No.
Well,
but he tells you, he tells you about, the cannibals on the other bridge. You need to give me 10 caps to cross my bridge because there's no cannibals on this bridge.
Oh.
But evidently he has some dialogue.
You should
because you have this quest to talk to Beefy. And hopefully now with the hotfix that works.
That quest coming on, that quest that comes on for you, do you get it when you're around Thames Haven or when you're just nearby the bridge?
Yeah, I think when you have to go, when the ferryman, tells you that you're going to need to come back across the bridge and meet with him and Archie.
Right. Okay.
You get that to talk to Beefy, but I did every dialogue option that he had, and never cleared that quest. And then later found out that talking to Beefy, there's supposed to be a dialogue option that lets you, essentially, I guess, take over that settlement.
There are skill
because
checks.
there's a workbench, and there's at least 3. I think there's a weapons, a armor, and a cooking station on that bridge. And so if you can get that settlement, then you've got those things. And I think you're meant to be able to get that early on.
Yeah, because this is officially London Bridge we're talking about. I just want to make that clear. He's not just on a bridge. He's on London Bridge.
Well,
and it's the London Bridge settlement. Yeah, and he and his companions will stay there as settlers when you get it. Supposedly when you're talking to him, there's like 2 skill checks. You need to have a certain amount of either charisma or something else. There are 2 different skills for the checks, and it's successive, and then you pass them and you'll get the quest for him to clear out the beef eaters, and then you can get the settlement. And you're saying you got the first part of it, but not the second part of it? Maybe it's intelligence you need.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Whatever it was, in order to pass his speech checks, I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him 10 tickets and went on my way.
Yeah, but that would be a really useful location. You're right. That would be a good early settlement.
But there's a lot of really fun quests in this game. I went into one of the areas, I don't remember which one, But as soon as you enter into this zone, this ghoul challenges you to a race, essentially, where you have to take a package and hang it from a hook at the top of a empty construction site.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just fun.
I love fun stuff like that. Like there is a complaint that some of them are some of the quests are fetch questy, but there's enough personality in most of them, and some unique ones like that I've found them great so far. Now, I'm only, even though I'm pretty far in time wise, I've only done like 5 or 6 quests at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's not adding up to that much yet.
Yeah, and I haven't really done that many quests per se, because mostly what I've been doing is exploring.
Right. Yeah. Especially looking for your coasters.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the quest, for Gordo, at the Billings Airport, very fun, very hard. And the
that one's
funny little
great.
quest.
Yeah, so I haven't done it yet, but I've seen some of it, and that's how you get the settlement at the airport, right? Is by doing Gordo's quests.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm almost there. I was heading in that direction last night.
Yeah.
It's like fun. They're druids, Andrew. Their druids have taken over the airport. And
There's an ancient race of people, the Druids. No one knows who they were or what they were doing, but their legacy remains hewn into the living rock of Stone Age. The little children of Stone Age beneath the haunted moon, for fear that daybreak might come too soon.
no spoilers, but there's a whole quest and got to deal with the dryads, I think, right?
Yeah.
Big Papa Dryad.
And there's some tough ones in there.
I fought some really tough ones.
If you're early on, that was, I had done Tameshaven. Then I went to the Swan and Mitre, did their quests, had been approved for, vagabonding, but didn't join them. And then went to the airport.
Cool beans. Yeah, so that's pretty good. That's more than I've done so far. Even that before, all your coaster and exploration. It's awesome.
But definitely some gnarly stuff doing the main quest. And there really isn't anything I can say about it that isn't super spoilery.
Yeah, we have to not spoil.
But it is.
Who? I'm tired of catering to these people who refuse to play a game and then say we can't talk about it.
It's too new. It's not on console.
I just don't want to spoil it for Jess.
Thank you. Me too.
No, she doesn't care.
Got at least 8 to 10 people in our Discord who are playing.
She doesn't
a lot of
care.
people jump in.
Jess is like, spoil it, whatever. I don't care.
Jess does not care much about spoilers compared to some people. Because I always say it's the experience. When you experience it yourself, it's different. Even if you know what's going to happen, but there are usually a twist or two. It is nice to not know the twist.
Yeah.
Although Ray and I, we both kind of talking before, we keyed in on part of the plot line, we think.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was right, Ray? Do you know now? Okay, cool.
Well, I don't know, but I know.
But you know.
Yeah.
Oh no. Is Jerry playing?
I don't think he is yet. He should be.
And
he'll be able to understand more of it.
And are the Scots like resentful of London, or would they be excited by London?
Oh, I think they're fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're fine with it.
Like, yeah, there's Iron Brew.
Oh right,
that had go for
they're celebrating. Yeah, the Scottish Iron Brew. Very cool.
And I got a Scottish actor a job.
What you did? What'd you say?
Yeah.
How did you get a Scottish actor a job?
Because I got him the drugs he needed to have the confidence to go out on stage.
Oh, in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, in the game.
I thought you like somehow had a Scottish friend. You knew the people making the mod. You arranged a fucking audition. It's like
It's
Ray's
like
really
confidence,
working.
man.
Hey, did you get your 3 or 5% on the back end, Mr. Agent?
Oh, absolutely. I'd take a cut.
When you say get to the drugs, I'm just picturing now doing that with Travis. Instead of, taking it along, building his confidence, they were just like, yeah, have some day
Confidence,
trip.
man. Right.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
I forget. You said there wasn't power armor over there, right? Or there is. I don't remember what you said.
I don't think there's any in the game.
You haven't seen it
No.
yet, right?
No usable power armor in the game that I know of.
How about like cheesy tourist destinations that Americans would know, like Apple Studios with the walk across the Abbey Road and stuff like that? Is there something cheesy? Are there teddy bears arranged across the crosswalk or anything fun like that? Like,
Not that I've come across. I don't know where anything is
yeah,
like that. So if it's not somewhere I'm sneaking by, and I play mostly at night. In the game, because it helps my sneak. And
do you think that helps you miss things?
well, it's definitely hard to see things
Right. Yeah, it's dark.
unless you're tripping over them.
Are they like gas lamp corner lights? Are they?
There's a few lanterns and campfires and fire barrels and stuff like that. But until you get into Westminster, there's not a lot of proper lighting.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. Like, there are lights, Andrew, for sure. There's some well-lit areas. I really like the way they set the lighting. There's some working neon signs and other signs, for sure. But it tends to be splashes of light, an accent of light in a dark city at night, for the most part.
do that?
The occasional power line sparking at you.
Oh, nice. Do they do that like London fog thing? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, nice.
big time.
It's darker.
Cool.
It's rainier than average. It's a little darker than average. As far
Cool.
as environmental storytelling, like you're asking, I haven't found much of the kitschy variety yet, like the that stuff you're talking. But there's definitely been some environmental storytelling with skeletons in odd positions, or dude that might have died miserably in various ways, for sure.
That weird Sherlock
funny
hat
notes.
with the brim on both sides.
A lot of funny notes and terminal entries.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I just because it was there, I took a trip through Greenwich, which
Yeah.
is essentially Fallout London's glowing sea.
Oh boy.
Did you? Oh, I haven't been there yet.
And was
Cool.
that caused by a nuclear bomb? I'm assuming, or
I don't know.
What was the
I didn't
accident
really
that-
get any explanation. It just you're walking along and all of a sudden, you're in the middle of a rad storm and
you're tick tick
you
tick
know,
tick tick tick.
every step you take, the rads go up and up and up.
Yeah, so some kind of accident there for sure. Oh, I got
So,
my first regular
you gotta
rad storm in game.
Slip
Right.
on your condom for protection,
Yes.
and away you go.
We call them Jimmy hats. Actually, we don't. We saw them. We're like, what the hell? There are plenty of them in game, and they do add radiation protection. Oh my goodness! But yeah, I had a real rad storm in game last night. It was ticking quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but in Greenwich, it's constant.
Hmm.
And so fortunately I've got chem resistance. And so I just,
Chugging the Radex.
drop drugs like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Good. Man, oh, have you found... Okay, so is it skim milk? It's one of the milks is good for subtracting rads and rad resistance.
Yeah.
But then there's
I don't remember if it
magic
was
milk.
Yeah, I've got magic milk. I've got skim milk. I've got
Mother's milk.
the other one, which is, what is it?
Milk of magnesia.
not not skim milk, or it's got some weird name.
Milk of human kindness, diet milk.
Mulk.
It's whatever the British equivalent of 2%.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have that too. It's got an unusual.
I think they
name
call that
to us.
halvesies.
But I am curious what magic milk is because it subtracts like 500 or 600 rads.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's-
awesome.
I think it's that shit from what's that movie called? The guy with the cod's pieces and a little of the ultraviolence. Come on, what is that?
Clockwork
the
Orange.
Kubrick
Yeah,
movie?
Malacco. It's Malacco milk.
It's that
Absolutely.
milk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you picked that up from that horrible description.
I mean, cod pieces. I was like, yeah, there are a lot of cod pieces in fantasy, but then you went on. It made sense.
So yeah, it's definitely been a blast, and I've been a lot of places and I've come across a lot of things, and it's coming in handy now because I can fast travel everywhere.
This is brilliant. That's really awesome. Yeah, the map is so big and there's so much on it. Like,
Yeah, there is. I mean,
seeing
there's still
how much I've
places I
explored,
haven't
I'm intimidated.
discovered.
Mhm.
I haven't discovered every single location, but I've been to every part of the map. So
Yeah, it may be as big as the Commonwealth and Far Harbor put together from what they've said, but sometimes it feels almost even more. Like, just explore them. It's like, it's so dense. in
Oh, yeah.
places.
but and
The walls.
the walls are just
Yeah.
walls and hedges and buildings that have no gaps.
Districts and neighborhoods, they do a good job of cordoning you off, so that it makes it even larger to get around.
Yeah.
Which is something that
Yeah.
New Vegas does on a small scale, but this does it on a big scale.
Yeah. It's like I need to be right on the other side of that building.
Mhm.
Let me go.
So close and yet so far.
So
It's one of those where you got to go up to go down. Stupid things.
Oh, there are
Yeah.
definitely some of those too.
yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of you got to go east and south and west and north.
In order to get
So-
back where you were.
to get on the other side of that wall or hedge. That's the thing that drives me crazy. I've got a knife.
I can
I
cut
can
through the
cut-
verge. Good lord.
Damn hedges, Hodges. I hate the hedges. Oh. Yeah. A jetpack mod would actually be really nice in London now that I think
Jetpack.
about it.
Yeah, totally.
With a Rocketeer.
But it was kind of interesting. So I watched their or some of their live stream.
Oh, the one they did yesterday? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't catch any, really.
And there's a method behind their madness. So by restricting these areas, they're able to cordon off sections. So instead of having every one of these sections have to be a unique cell, they can keep the NPCs contained with these walls and barriers, because that's what they need. If they don't, then NPCs can wander off, to places and not be where they need to be for you to use them in a quest.
Right. They wanted, okay, that makes sense because they wanted to allow them some freedom, which they do in this game. They don't lock many people down.
Right.
They lock a few, but they don't lock many people down, which makes it feel more alive and natural.
Yeah.
But I could see how that could be an issue over time.
Yeah. I mean, if there was no limit to where they could go, I mean, who knows? They'd be clear on the other side of the map, and you wouldn't be able to find them. So that was why there's so many walls and hedges and buildings and stuff to cordon these sections off, so that they don't have to have so many load screens.
Do they then use like the tube as an alternate, like you can't go this way on the hedge, so you have to go underground, and then there's there's a bunch of ghouls all over the place, and
no, there's not a lot of that.
okay.
Most of those are taking you to, another district, and those are completely, set apart by separate cells.
Cool.
So
Lee was just asking in chat if the developer video would be available somewhere, and I think that it probably will be edited and published on one of their YouTubes, if not the main one of the devs. However, the VOD is up still, so I'm dropping that in our stream and pod share link. There is a direct link to the Heads of Department developer commentary stream. If anyone wants to go back and actually watch it, should be up for at least a week. I don't know if they're an affiliate or not, but they should have at least a week, if not a couple.
yeah, and there is a funny spot in there. So the guy that's actually playing the game while they're talking, he takes you to a spot. Evidently, this guy has a bad habit of going places he's not allowed to be.
Oh no!
So he finds, ways to jump into areas that were, not meant to have anybody. And so they got so annoyed with him that somebody that was, building the area around the initial train crash.
Yep.
Actually, there's a section that he found a way to jump into. And when he jumped into it, there's a skeleton with a note. And the note says, "Don't go this way, son."
Yeah. There's
A little late.
That's awesome. Telling him to screw off, bugger off back where you came from. Don't go this way.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, gosh, probably the person does QA. And I mean, a lot of us, we do love trying to get out of bounds and breaking those areas. It's fun. Can you jump up there? Can you get to it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was an interesting watch.
Sweet.
So, and showed that coming out of that initial train station, I got some really crappy rolls on my random containers.
Why? Because from what they said, it was supposed to be better.
Well, what that guy got was a lot better than what I got.
Oh, that's no good. Yeah. I mean, I got some okay stuff, but some of them are random. Like times when I've died and had to reload, gone through areas, I've found, oh yeah, these containers are different. Even the weapons that some of the enemies are dropping are different. You may not get the same couple.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are the British artillery a lot different or anything?
You mean just the guns and arms in general?
It's like guns and armors. It does
way.
A lot different.
Yeah, there are a lot of unique weapons to the location.
Any
some
like
crossover, some unique.
Cool, like lobster back generals coats with the big red the big red shoulder pads and the gold
tons of unique
tassels
outfits.
and brass buttons and stuff. I love
some
that
very British ones, but like you've got a cricket bat and a cricket ball grenade. Important stuff.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I was a little bummed out about is that clothing doesn't have the special buffs.
Right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, there's not much of that.
And so,
That
you
stinks.
don't have a charisma outfit.
Yeah, I've got a red dress and a sequin dress. Neither one has charisma.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm having to chug a drug like Wonderland gives you like 3 charisma. There are a couple that give you 1 or 2, which is good before trading. Buff that charisma and go in. But yeah, you can't just drink and dress.
And do you have an idea as to why they didn't do that? Because it's sort of built on the Fallout 4 bones.
I mean, it has to be a choice, that they made. Some of the stuff they did, they talked about, wanting the game to be a little bit harder.
Okay. But would that complicate the programming of the clothing and make it easier on them if they didn't have to account for that or something?
I don't think so. The creation engine
Okay.
and the creation kit has all of the the attribute stuff for the clothes available right in drop down menus and everything.
Okay. They just wanted you to actually reflect your specials. I get it.
So, but I'm what am I, level 24 or 25, somewhere in that range.
Oh, that's awesome. So making good headway. I do feel like levels might, I'm not going to say come slower than in Fallout 4, but I feel like I'm leveling slow. And that might just be on account of the way the perk chart's set up too. Like that could be part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, maybe I'm higher than that. I just got to Big Leagues 4. I think that's 27. So, but yeah, it swings pretty fast, especially as a stealth melee character. And I level quickly because I kill lots and lots and lots of things. And then also, my 24 XP for every location discovery I made. That makes it go pretty quick.
Yeah, that's great. I think once I do more quests and explore more, it will start to come, but it feels slow. And I think it's because, and early on in Fallout 4, we have the same problem where there are all these skills you see you want to have that you like,
Right.
I want to be able to get that. And you're feeling the lack of so many skills early on for the first 20, 30 levels. And I mean, I know you often don't even get that high before you stop on a character, but I do. And I just like, I want armoring, but I also want gunslinger, but I also want gun nut, but I also want, some charisma stuff. Like give me ticket collector instead of cat collector, Andrew. Stuff like that. Oh, and sneering imperialist, what a great skill. I love that one.
Yeah. I haven't taken it, but I should.
I took it. Andrew, that one, you do extra damage against ne'er-do-wells. So like hooligans, and there are 3 official categories to say.
There's hooligans, scofflaws, and Welshmen, I think.
No, not the Welshman. But yeah, no, it's great. And plus you get a general like 15% bonus on certain things too.
Yeah. And that's, the build that I'm running right now is very, very streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, it's not as specific as my full stealth melee. But it's pretty close. So, I've actually had a few places where I've got holes, where I don't have any particular perk to take,
Right.
because the next level of the perks that I am taking aren't available until later.
Yeah, I am finding that with the level locking, some things you will take longer to get to. But I'm level 9 for the record. I know I'm talking, but yeah, my character's level 9.
I mean, that kind of rounds out. I was going through the glowing sea, I came across a womble.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about wombles.
But it was,
That sounds
I
adorable.
could barely see it, because I'm in this storm and there's radiation and, these glowing particles floating around, and I'm underneath some collapsed building. And so it's dark, but something's hitting me. So I'm hitting back.
Hitting you hard.
Yeah, it was only an alpha womble, but I took it out with my Balisong.
Oh, beautiful. Oh man, you knifed a womble to death? Okay. So I'm just jumping in to tell my womble story now because wombles is so exciting. So wombles are kind of like the analog to Deathclaws, right, Ray? Like they're kind of like the biggest, fiercest.
Or sheep squatch, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because they are more sheepy. They've got like a goat face, but they're big and puffy. They got the big old arms and they got like kind of like spawns like a sheep squatch. But yeah, it's like a cross between a sheep squatch, a deathclaw, and like a yeti. Anyway, super, super scary. And I met one at level 8. And I died to it a bunch of times. But so there's an area. I'm sorry, Ray. I'll let you finish your gameplay.
No. That's it. I mean, mine just kind of rambles on all over the place. So
Okay, good. Please, you can jump in with more stuff while I'm talking. But so my biggest thing with gameplay, Fallout 76, I finished the chore board, made it past 100, got everything on the board I wanted to buy, season done, all purchased. Yay! I hit level 101 to get everything I wanted. Thank you, Mo. Appreciate that. So that's my 76. I only played to finish the scoreboard and to visit a friend's camp who rebuilt the Ninja Turtles sewer dungeon. Like from the first movie, he rebuilt their whole sewer lair.
That's awesome.
Very cute. Yeah, it was great. I went in and I'm like, I feel like I recognize this place. I like the pods and there's the arcade, all these video games over here. And why is everybody like wearing green with like the turtle shell back? Oh, wait a second.
Why is there pizza with a scoop of ice cream on it?
That's what gave it away the most. Was he actually did a merge? It looks like there's a pizza tray, pizza tray in front of the TV. Yeah, it was great. It was great. So really fun. That got me over to 76. Besides that, just playing London too. So I'll get into my exploration, but let's get to the Womble. Okay. So I'm exploring the area around Bromley, which is one of the starting areas that the Vagabonds kind of control. And I'm at the stage after I finish some of this stuff where I'm just exploring every nook and cranny. Well, there's this one place, South Station, and there's a little gully behind it. I'm like, well, what's in that gully? What's going on down there? Because there's no enemies, doesn't be anything. And I'm trying to figure out how to get down there. And then there's a little kind of like catwalk, construction setup with stairs going down and stuff like that, where they were working on it. And there's a chain over it for some reason. So I undo the chain and I go in and work my way down there. Okay, working down into the zone. And I'm hitting, just be careful, I'm starting to hit VATS. Well, I start VATSing and there are mines. Like, oh my God, mines. Okay, so I get down there. I get enough height that I can blow up 2 or 3 or 4 mines, make it safe. And I'm wandering through and like, there's not anything here. But it looks cool. It's a cool area. On the far side, oh, wait. There's a bunch of stacked up boxes there. So I'm wandering over to the boxes. Like I said, I'm level 7 or 8 at this point. And I get to an expert lock. Damn it. Well, I can't. Oh, yeah. I can pick regular, novice, and advanced. Can't do expert yet, Andrew. I do not have the skill. So sad. Explore more. I found another box. Expert. Man, I have to mark this to come back. I start going a little bit deeper. And then I hear something. Like a little scrabbling. Like a little... I don't know if that came through on the mic. Probably sounded awful. Anyway, I hear like a noise, like something kind of like, just like little, like a minor landslide, like rocks coming down a wall. I look, and there's this cloud of dust along the one side, and I see this creature just come down and land. And my eyes get big, and I look at it, and there's a big old skull on it, and it says Womble. Okay, I've fought a couple things now that have skulls on them at this point. Like Fallout 4 means outside your level, of course. Like, I can take this thing. Well, let me tell you, gentle listeners, I could not take this thing. I died a horrific death. So I reloaded and I tried again a little more strategic and died again. Third time, I'm like, I wonder if maybe these are why the mines are there. If I don't blow up any mines and I walk through them, maybe I can kite the Womble into them and he will blow himself up.
There you go.
The Womble barely felt it.
Oh, yeah. They're tough. Those Wombles are tough.
They are. They got very thick sole padded feet. So that didn't work. So fourth try, like, well, I've got this whole catwalk structure here. I'm going to kite him to it and then cheese it. And shoot between the bars and run around.
Cheese it, fellas.
And ultimately, that did work. I killed a Womble at level 7, which was great, level 7 or 8. And, but it was hard because the Womble can navigate stairs, but luckily with it being kind of winding stairs up like 3 or 4 levels, he would not make it all the way up. So I'd be like shooting between stairs, plink, 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 running down. throw a Molotov, light myself on fire. Ow! By the way, we've mentioned before. Fallout London, the default difficulty is pretty hard. You take a decent amount of damage. You're a little bit fragile, and Molotovs. I seem to hurt myself all the time with my own Molotovs. It's just I don't usually do that in the game, but in this one I do. I think because things are tight. It's easy to be in the way of things.
Yeah, everything's in the way.
Only amateurs blow themselves up with explosives and door frames. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't even have anyone to blame like some people.
You're no robots walking in front of you.
But anyway, I got the Womble, and it was just a really fun, intense battle. We've got dramatic fight music. We've got roar, and the thing is huge. Like it is big muffins, and it had some pretty good loot on it.
That's so
Actually,
funny.
did I get?
You mentioned the roar just now. I actually have a recording of it.
Yes, that's the roar exactly. But I don't think I got my. So I got my first legendary drop. I don't think it was from the Womble, but I got some good loot. Anyway, Wombles, they're tough. And after all this, coming back up the catwalk, I realized the reason there was a chain across I had to undo to go down. It was not the chain was not for me. It was to keep things in, and then on the edge there are all these signs: keep out, stay away, no entrance, do not go.
Hey,
stop.
dummy, this means you.
Completely ignored the signs. It's like when you're going
They
to
were
the
trying to
quarry
tell
in
you.
New Vegas and you walk by those do not enter signs.
Beware.
Danger. That was fun. but so I kind of jumped ahead in the story there. So the Wobble Expedition. So playing through like I have been, I had just made it a little ways in last week, and I started the Vagabonds, made it to them. I hadn't done much with them. So going through the Vagabonds quest this week. And what's neat is that they are progressive, like I was talking about, where they're staged. You get there, you meet everybody after talking to Yvette and getting your railroad spine cured. She goes away. And I won't spoil the whole, every step, but essentially it's set up with overarching quests. So you get a quest to repair a radio, but of course you got to talk to this dude to get the sprocket, and they do the sprocket needs to do something in order to give you the sprocket. And then once you get the sprocket, the guy is going to put in the sprocket. So
Your story has become tiresome. Now's the time when Sprocket Family dies!
well, I can't put in sprockets without a dingle hopper. And you're like, dingle hopper, did I see one of those? I don't know.
Wow, this is special. This is very, very unusual.
What? What is it?
It's a dingle hopper.
So it keeps you really exploring a lot. But as you go and finish for each of these people, you're opening stuff up. So, for instance, we talked about how there isn't a home site really, but there is a chemistry bench in the Vagabonds thing. So what I was doing with my junk, like you're talking, Ray, I transferred up and storing all my junk in the chemistry bench in the Swan and Miter, because you can do transfer to any workbench. It'll stay. It won't go away. So as I collect stuff and get it, I transfer it there, so I don't have to carry it, but I have it stored for if I ever do need to bring it to a settlement. And you end up you open up a DIY store. One of the early quests you do, one of the first things, is the DIY hardware store. So you clear that out, you finish that up, and boom, there's a weapon bench there. So now you got 2 benches, which is great. I'm slowly building a network. And once you clear it out, the store actually populates. That's where people have seen Dave Oshry has an NPC in this too. Dave Newblood Oshry. He's a game dev and creator and was one of the sponsors of Fallout London. So his NPC pops in there, and now you've got a store. He's selling stuff. So you've got the bartender selling stuff. You've got him selling stuff, and now I've got a weapon bench. So I'm storing half my junk in the weapon bench. Basically, whichever one I'm near is where I'm dropping my junk, Ray. Or if I need to work on my weapons, I'm dropping it. So like if I get aluminum, nuclear material, oil, I'm dropping it in the weapons bench. If I get all the regular ceramics and stuff, I'm usually dropping the other one. And I have once or twice had to jump back and forth between to ferry stuff, but it's working well. I've got a rank of gun nut, so I can do mods. My big weapons, I am going into pistols because it's my default and I love it. Even though I found a good shotgun and good rifles, I'm doing a 9mm. And for sniping, I actually found the revolver Ray, like a pipe revolver style. But you can get a long barrel on it. You can get a scope on it. You add that plus the 20% boost. It's actually a pretty good alternate. And it uses 32 by default. So,
yeah, the one I use is the service pistol?
There's a service rifle. Are you using that one or the service pistol?
No, it's a pistol.
Cool.
and it was the strongest pistol I had and could take a silencer.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. So I've got a silencer on the 9mm. I don't have a silencer on the revolver yet, but I'm working towards it. It's got a it's got a muzzle brake at this point. You need certain levels of gun nut to add certain things to certain guns. But I have, going through, I have
that it wouldn't let me add a silencer to it.
Yeah, I've got a number of pistols. For a while, I was using a crude rifle, but I found a crude rifle with a scope that was pretty decent once I modded it. But then this revolver replaced it. Same with the guns. There's crude guns instead of pipe. By the way, instead of pipe weapons in this, they call them crude weapons, but they're basically variations of pipe weapons.
Yeah.
But their own unique design. So it's cool. There's just a lot of neat designs of weapons. So those are my main weapons. Anyway, that's that section. So another question to do is to kind of find out why a shipment is delayed. Well, you go and do that. You finish that quest, which, once again, set up really well. Small, but really well. Cool area. Now you've got, she's grateful. She lets you shop at her store. Now you've got a third trader. So there are 3 traders right there in the Bromley area that I'm getting. I've got 2 workbenches. You go further in, just a little bit further, and I found on a roof an ammo crafting bench. So anyway, I did all this, and I did all the base Vagamon stuff in the area. Plus, you can talk to Sid. Don't ignore Sabretooth Sid's quest, you guys. Go to the library for Sabretooth Sid. By the way, I love the library quest. Did you do the library, Ray?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So the library is a really cool location, and you could get some kids' books for him. You clean it out. It's some cool history and lore in the library. But there's also a banned book section. You can find the key to the banned books. You go in there, and it's just funny, the books they banned. I mean, it's the classic you'd expect. Catcher in the Rye, 1984, Brave New World, that sort of stuff. They're like 15 banned books. They're worth a lot of money. But where's it going with this? Oh, right, Sid. So he's got a progressive quest too, which as you go little by little, I'm not going to tell you what you're doing, but you're helping him with something. And it's just really, it's an awesome quest line. At some point, he will run out of things to do. And I've been told you kind of have to get close to finishing the Vagabond's quest line before you can finish his. So the Vagabond's now want me to...
That's the Churchill Library?
Yeah, Churchill
right
Library.
There in Bromley.
Yep, and you talk to Sabretooth Sid in the Swan and Miter. He's maybe my favorite NPC I've met so far. Definitely wonderful. I really like him.
And I went back to sell some stuff to Nadia, and she was gone.
Oh, yeah, no, Nadia's been great for me. So I stopped the hooligans after her, and she was stuck on a tree walking back a little bit, so I nudged her. I went right up to her. I kind of like chest bumped her once or twice until she got past the tree. She's like, "Oi, watch where you're walking." And then that was in New York, not British. I can't do it.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I'm walking here. Hey.
So she walked back. Once she did that, I was safe.
That's one of my most annoying things about Fallout London is NPCs stand in the way and then complain if you bump into them.
Yeah, they do. They do. And like they've got like this big bubble around them. Like, oh, you don't even have to jostle them. You don't actually have to rustle their jimmies. You get within like 2 feet of them and they're like, hey, personal space.
Yeah.
Like,
bump me again, there's going to be consequences.
Right. Yeah, they're so threatening. Like, really, dude, come on, quit the attitude. Anyway, long story short, these are all of the early Vagabond's quests. And then they're going to send you to look for Yvette after you do a thing, and then you got to leave the area. You got to head to another area, which is also, that's where Silior is now too. So in chat, Silior, you've now unlocked a bunch of locations and vendors and stuff. But before doing that, you know me, I'm like, I need to thoroughly explore the area. I need to find the edge of the map. So also some of the buildings found, I wanted to figure out how to get on top of the buildings because you're fighting some hooligans and stuff up there, but I could never find a staircase or a way to get up there. Okay, so I explored every building and all around Bromley. There's actually, if you kind of go south, east, and around from the do-it-yourself hardware store, there's kind of a little nook inside. One of the areas, like a little, it's an open area anyway, and there's an elevator there. You can ride the elevator halfway a building, get to a staircase, and then you can be on the rooftops of the buildings around there. It's a little bit hidden. It's not obvious, and I think a quest will send you there later because after killing them there, I found an NPC that was non-responsive. Some kind of scientist NPC in a lab coat on top of this building. I click on him, he doesn't really say much, he just looks at me like, hey, what's up? But he doesn't give me any more than that. And so I think he's going to be for a quest later. I also found a lantern up there, and just some cool stuff. But I did that. Things to see in Bromley. Early armor for y'all. So if you're having trouble getting good armor, and you've actually done the Vagabond stuff, you clean out weapons, and there are plenty of, obviously Ray, you have much better now, and you can go all over and find stuff. But in Bromley itself, after you finish everything, you go a little bit further south, you'll find the police station just south of the South train station. Go in there. There is hidden pieces of riot gear all around that police station. So the first piece you find is in a little storage area, but then you find stuff on people's desks, in the back of an auditorium, on a file cabinet. Like it's not obvious, a little bit hidden, but if you search that place thoroughly, you will get a full set of UK police riot gear in this location. So my armor, I'm at like 51 DR right now, Ray, which is pretty good for level 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got I think I've got 2 legendary pieces. The problem is you can't put shadowed on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my main goal for everything, is to get it shadowed.
Right, to get that stealth up. Yeah. Ray, I haven't put a single point in stealth. I have too many choices. It tempted me. When I hit level 9, it tempted me. But I'm like, I'm sneaking okay. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got Churchill yet.
I can walk right up to a ghoul,
Mm-hmm.
straight on, and just stab them, without them ever seeing me. So
you're super stealthy, like usual, but even more than usual. That's awesome. So that's kind of my general saga of the quests I've done, exploring the region. So I finished all of Bromley, and I found these little fun things, cool buildings. The edge of either the walls or the edge of the map where you cannot go this way, you cannot go this way. But I tried. Now, as you go further west, you end up heading towards Biggin Hill, is the small settlement area. And I found a bunker. Now, this bunker might be part of a quest. Ray, did you have to go into a quest to fight some dryads for the Gordo quest? Was there a bunker involved or no?
Yeah.
Okay, then I might have found it because I did this whole clean out this bunker. It was hard. So
did you find the talking tree?
No, it didn't find a talking tree.
Okay, so that must just appear if the
maybe, or it's separate. So I'll tell you what I did. You go down, but what's cool is there's a weapons and an armor bench here. So this is my first armor bench, which was awesome. I got to do stuff there. But there are some shoes in here. There are like, what are they called? Like wet shoes, damp shoes. You know what they're called, Ray?
Yeah, they're damp, I think, or drenched. Drenched. Yeah.
Like drenched in what? I'm like, what is a drenched rad shrew? Like
well, that's like the mean pig rats.
The mean ones.
Aren't they all mean?
These ones are extra mean. So like these ones are extra moist.
I'm glad pig rats make a return.
Yeah, pig rats do all kinds of enemies. Anyway, clean this place out. There's a legendary dryad in here. Legendary glowing dryad. She's green. She's mean. I could not get used to it. I had so much trouble. I took her out finally, but I probably died 8-9 times trying different tactics. I had to take chems. I had to, by the way, people who were like, aren't you Puritan? No, I ruined that, as we discovered. So, so I nixed the perk. I'm not even taking it. So now I can use chems if I want. But eventually took her out. And then, yeah, you go through and you find there's a room behind with all kinds of body parts and stuff chopped up, and like a serial killer room. And so is this the same location, Ray? Was there a serial killer room in this one? It's very bloody.
Yeah, I don't really remember that.
Did you have to break boards to get into a tunnel, like a big waving cave tunnel network that goes in a loop? They have to break boards to get into.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those.
Okay. So this may not be the same one. I don't know. Anyway, cool location, really hard to fight, but finding an armor bench was awesome. So that was good. And I just explored all around there. I've gone to like the traveler camp, followed the ghouls there. I'm almost to the airport. Like I'm slowly filling out the map from the whole right corner. I've got every location pretty much as far west as Biggin Hill and up to just the edge of the airport. And of course, around the wall from the starting area.
If you go due west from the Swan and Mitre, you'll come across that that little outpost that has there's a in the upstairs section. There's an armor bench, and in the shed off to the side, there's a weapons bench.
Oh, beautiful! And that's west of the Swan and Mitre.
It's really close to the Swan and Mitre.
Oh, well, you know what? It's funny because as much as I've explored a lot of Bromley, just the area directly behind Swan and Mitre is the one area I haven't really done much yet because I went down and around. There's the college there, kind of near Nadia. There's a college full of hooligans and
this is
mansion and stuff.
This was I came across this on my way from the train crash area
to get there. Yeah.
Get to Swan and Mitre.
I think a lot of people did. So I went a weird way. I talked to people in the Discord about it. You know, how I met the Radger, which is a mean ass badger. Radger. Man, Radgers are so mean, Andrew. They mean.
Do they give a fuck?
They do not. They are honey Radgers, for sure. They are total honey Radgers.
The honey badger doesn't care. It's getting stung like 1,000 times. It doesn't give a shit. It's hungry.
But so I went way up north along the water, then east, and then down south through the park. And so I started met the Jack Tars and the Radgers and a bunch of stuff. So I didn't do the area that I think most people did to get there. Like when did you go around and skirt the wall?
You came really close to Greenwich then.
I probably did, yeah. The Greenwich
because
Tunnel area.
If you go just a little bit north from that main Jack Tar area.
Does it have the green light above it, like the slight glow at night? And okay, I've definitely seen that. I was pretty close to it. Do I want to investigate it? And I'm like, no, I'm being shot at. I should probably, go to where the quest wants me to go.
So did you go to the Queen's house then?
No, I haven't been to the Queen's house, I don't think.
Okay.
Nope.
That's full of Jack Tars.
Been in the area. Oh, wait, are they on the north side of the park? Is that the Queen's house?
Yeah.
Then yes, I did, but I didn't discover it because I didn't go inside of it. I just fought Jack Tars on the outside and ran away. Because at that point, I was like level 4 at most. So yeah, I was getting my butt.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, things we didn't mention that we talk about in the Discord and people know now. There was a bug in the game that we didn't realize was a bug at first. So after the train crash, okay, you get this railroad spine, you get the, I don't know, scurvy jitters, whatever the other one is, lab rat, thank you. And you're just supposed to get those like negative 10% debuff. Well, it was reducing everybody's health by 40 to 70%. So it changed your max health. So for instance, like if you had about 100 max health getting on the train, after your crash, you might be down to 40 or 50 max health. So I thought it was just choice by the game, but that's why we were all finding it so much harder and dying so much is because most of us had half the health we should have, which was pretty bad. And I only learned that, I think, on like Tuesday or Wednesday. And people were talking about like it was a known thing. I'm like, all the stuff I did trying to get the game working and other things, I didn't catch that bug.
Right.
So you can fix it using console commands, but
they fixed it's in the hot fix.
It's in the hot fix. Is it retroactive, or do you have to, if you already have the bug, do you have to go through it? Is it retroactive?
I don't know that it really said.
Okay.
But anyway, what they did say was that so in their stream they talked about it, and they said that the reason they didn't notice that it was happening was because they had tried to make it really hard at the very beginning.
It is hard. It was hard.
Yeah. So when they did the fix, they fixed it so that it would do what it says it was going to do, but they increased the amount that it decreases you by.
So like it's 15 or 20% now instead of just 10?
Instead of 10.
Rude. But yeah, it is pretty tough for sure. It is pretty tough, but that was a big thing. So in order to fix it, which sounds like the hotfix fixed it, but there's
my first clue is
calculation.
When I came across a single fox.
Mm-hmm. Those foxes, Andrew, they're mean.
And
they're all mean.
And so this one fox killed me.
Just like getting up by 3 of them. They trade turns like killing me, biting my ass. Oh.
So evidently, between having your health, diminished even more than intended, and foxes were stronger than they intended.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lethal combination. So they also debuffed the fox attack, so they're not as strong.
That's good. Yeah, they were so dangerous. I mean, by the way, they're not mean. Actually, they're technically mangy foxes. They're mangy foxes, but they're so mean.
Foxes are finally getting back at us for years of fox hunts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what's happening there.
Turning the tables on us.
They are cunning little creatures. You gotta love them. But man, do they bite.
So have you come across any of the famished?
No, I've seen them in other people's in streams that I've watched. When I'm watching a video, like a background clip, etc. They look pretty spooky. Oh, I remember where I first saw them. Someone who had the sleepwalker trait, and they ended up where they shouldn't be, and they were surrounded by famished. Yeah. That's why I was cautioning like last week. I'm like, it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen that video.
Yeah, there are way too many places that you don't want to wake up.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But yeah, so famished. I thought they were like death claws at first, but they're a little bit, they're skinnier.
Yeah, a little bit smaller, but yeah, they are fast.
Mm-hmm. But that's really, I should wrap up. That's my gameplay. Just getting that small corner, like 8 to 10% of the map. And obviously, I'm pretty thorough, but I haven't found like that bunker yet. Because I went back to Cell. I was kind of doing the loop, and I was gonna get back that area. But it is neat how they set up defenses and let people wander. You got vagabonds up front, vagabonds and back in the street. And as you explore and complete the quest, there are more of them around Bromley. It's just so cool. Like, we have kind of reclaimed the town for the vagabonds a bit, and it'll be more so, I'm sure, as we go forward. And I just love that. But yeah, initially when I was going to explore the area behind, I'm like, it's a little too dangerous. I was feeling kind of weak. But everything was killing me at that point. Like, everything. My goodness. It's rough and tough, Andrew, and I wish you could play with us. We're having so much fun, as you can tell.
Sounds pretty horrible.
There's a new Fallout game, and we're loving it. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
But only on PC.
I don't want to admit, don't tell my wife, but I'm on Google searching for gaming PCs right now as we speak. I should probably be paying more attention to the show, but I want to play with you guys.
We'll hook you up. But yeah, it's, oh God, it's fun. And as hard as it is to game at the PC, I was telling Ray last week, I've got a comfy now. Unlocked my chair, I can lean back, put my feet on my desk, controller in my hand.
Nice.
It's just like I'm on my couch almost.
All right, I've got a few questions about it before we get too far away from it. The currency you said is tickets, not bottle caps. Is that correct?
Right, tickets. Bottle caps are aluminum.
Would aluminium, please?
Aluminium. I knew you were going to.
Is there a ticket mine where you get death by 1,000 paper cuts?
Ooh.
Instead of a bottle cap mine. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Also, I don't remember if you commented on this yet. Have either of you established a settlement yet?
Ray has an apartment and he's claimed a couple. I have not. I'm using various workbenches throughout the city.
Is there...
I think I have 5 of them now.
Is there a similar building like in Fallout 4? Or is
it's the same.
It's the exact same? Okay, cool. For some reason, I thought that they would limit that, but they didn't.
No, it's...
Go ahead.
Any changes are minor. You still have provisioners.
Like instead of a bobblehead stand, you've got a beer mat display that I can't put beer mats on.
Well, maybe that'll be fixed.
They're so heavy. I was looking at the perk list, and most of them look pretty much the same. A couple noteworthy ones. Slayer and Strength. We don't have that in Fallout 4, right? What is usually Strength 10? And 4, is that a power armor related one or something?
Oh, geez. Is it like Pain Train or something up there?
Is it Pain Train?
I don't know. But it looks like they had to
9
replace.
is Rooted.
Yeah, it looks like they had to replace some of the power armor related perks, right? Okay. So
Yeah, they definitely did.
this is something I think they need to include in Fallout 4. Slayer, rank 10 of strength, is increased melee / unarmed punch speed. So it's like that awesome perk in Fallout 76 that increases your swing speed.
Yeah, no, speed increase is really good. And it is melee focused, so you'd be using that a lot. I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously some people use it more than
Let's
others.
see, what
but-
else?
Yeah, 10 is Pain Train.
Scholar also, but I wanted to ask if you'd actually tried that, because what does it mean by reading? What do you have to read? It says the Scholar perk is reading one times. It gives you an extra 100 XP a day. So I'm assuming if you crack a book, you learn a little bit.
Yeah,
is what they're trying to
anything
say.
you read, you can read. Yeah, I think the description actually used the word poop stained on it. Anything from a book to a poop stained note you found in the toilet.
Oh, wow.
So just have to read anything. And you
That's
get your
hilarious.
100 XP.
That's
Also, now that I
great.
think about it, Slayer was a strength perk in the early games. So like when we're playing Fallout 1
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff, Slayer was in there.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Let's see what else. I wrote one more down here. Sneer Imperialist. I looked that one up because you said look that. That's funny. Slayer is
awesome.
good, and Chariot of Fire I thought was humorous just because
Oh, I don't know if I know that one.
movie. Chariot of
Chariot
Fire
of Fire.
is
Sprinting
in-
drains less AP.
Yeah, I
just
don't
don't-
remember what we call it, but we have that one as well. We just call it something else.
Yeah, for sure. Marathoner, I think.
But
Yep.
Chariots of Fire. I just thought that was a
There's some
good nod.
Names there, and there are perks you get from items too. You know how when you get certain items, they give you an effect. So, for instance, like the Lucky 8 Ball will
Except
give
for
you a permanent
clothes.
luck. Mm-hmm. Lovecraft's presents. Do you have Lovecraft's presents?
I hope
Right.
not. It might have
That perk?
tentacles.
What do I have? I got something when I got to 5 dolls.
Cute Thulu dolls. Yeah, with the cute Thulu doll. That's what I was wondering because I knew you had collected a couple.
Yeah, so I think I've got 7 or 8 of them now.
Oh, here's a cool skill. I just pulled up the Fallout London perk list, Andrew. Troubadour. I've always thought that one was
I didn't
cool.
see that one. What was that one?
It's a rank like
It sounds
2 or
like a
3
charisma, probably, right?
Yeah, and it persuading anyone with a special perk or trait check grants more XP.
More XP. Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
like what a cool thing to add. Like it makes perfect sense from an RP perspective.
Absolutely.
It's a good name. I really like it.
And what did it replace?
Well, that's the question. I'd have to do a 1-by-1 comparison.
Yeah.
Figure some of these
That's
out.
what I've been
but-
doing is looking, being like, can I guess what these have replaced?
What they've done though is that a couple of them replace, a couple of them do replace, but a number of them are just bonus perks based on level.
Yeah.
So because it's a
Yeah,
list
because they show up
instead.
at the top of the list
Mhm.
before, your first strength perk. So I think the first strength perk is what, Iron Fist?
Yes.
Yeah, those are basically
Yeah.
the same. Yep.
Yeah, so these all show up above that. But ones like Slayer are, direct
Well,
replacements, and so
yeah.
they show up in the regular strength
Right.
list.
So it's a mix. But there are some great ones.
Neat.
Really enjoying it. There's so much role play. The skills are really useful. I can't believe the characters. I'm having so much fun with it.
Mhm.
I have heard from some people who think maybe people are overhyping London a little bit, and it's still just a mod. It is still just a mod, and it has some of the shortcomings of mods. And there are some things that maybe don't make a lot of sense, or aren't as thought out, or aren't as professionally done. And that might be true, but there's so much good content in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Items, clothing, map design, and yes, story. I've heard the writing called amateur at times, but nothing I've found feels like that to me. I think it's really well done. So yeah,
Sounds
Yeah.
like internet critics just like to critique because someone
No.
else did something fun and cool and enviable.
And there's also just between plot and writing, I know. And so maybe the plot is better than the writing at times. Sure. I mean, that happens with anything. But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So I think we've talked about London enough, unless you have more questions, Andrew. I'm curious what you've been doing.
Enough.
No, there's no such thing.
We've got a few more weeks. In fact, I think we're probably going to have a few guests on the next couple of weeks we can talk about London with. Like, there's plenty to discuss.
So I just fought some pig rats in Fallout 2 recently, but I just heard you guys mention pig rats. Is that a thing in Fallout London?
Oh, yeah.
They brought them out? That's awesome. And then that made
they're
me
big
think...
and fat.
That
just
makes me... They look like little hippos.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and they bound.
Really?
Yeah.
Hungry pig rats.
Oh, that's great. But that makes me wonder, because there's rad rats, which are actually rats, but then there's pig rats and mole rats. Are there any other animal cross with rats? What does rat imply in those cases, like pig rat and mole rat? Like what? I don't.
Well, mole
what does
rats
that mean?
are a thing in
Right.
real life.
They are.
And rad
Okay.
rats are a thing, except rad.
Yeah.
Well, because they're radical. Like they're in that like Splinter, right?
Exactly.
No. So okay, mole rat is it is a real animal. Okay.
It's just pig rat, rad rat, and mole rat.
Is a pig rat a real animal? Is there an animal called pig rat that runs around London?
I don't think so.
I don't know of any. No. I think it's just a creature from the original game.
That's fun. What did they include? Anything sort of like a cryptid or anything fun like that?
Oh, some of these creatures, I mean, like mentioned in the fan,
Well, yeah,
some of
what
them
was-
do seem
What was the Sasquatch thing you mentioned? Sort of the
cryptid-esque.
Yeti.
Oh, the womble.
Womble.
Yeah, wombles are tough.
You guys first said the word womble. I'm picturing like a puffalump, like a cute little elephant that's like
Heffalumps and woozles.
it's
are
got like
very
a little
decent.
trunk and he gives you a present and blows a kiss across the room or something, you know.
I mean, we're fighting mutated ladybugs.
Womble.
Although did they fix the name to Ladybird, Ray? They said
Yeah,
they might do that.
in the
Oh,
hot picks. Yeah.
Okay. The
That's
the
good.
Brits call them ladybirds.
Yeah, right.
instead of- yeah.
They called them ladybugs?
Yeah,
Originally?
they had them. They were labeled ladybug in the game, but now they're ladybirds.
But that's just
Ray,
because wait, how were they labeled in the Fallout 4? There was ladybugs?
No, there
No.
were no ladybugs
Okay.
before.
Okay.
Have you fought a corgi? I heard there were corgis in the
No, I haven't seen a corgi.
game. Okay.
I have to
Battle
imagine those
corgi.
would be in Westminster.
Do you think that the Queen's corgis have kind of? Yeah, no, yeah,
That's hilarious.
that's great. Cyber pigeons. There's all kinds of creatures.
Yeah, the pigeons are pretty funny. They're you can tell that they're modeled on the the crows. Because they've got the crooked neck. Like the crows in Fallout 4 do. So yeah, it took me a minute to realize that they were actually pigeons.
I'm looking at all the different types of ratchers. There are so many varieties of ratchers.
But you said
There's
there's no super mutants. There are
Well,
wait.
there
There's
are
something
large humanoid creatures.
I remember you were being all cryptic last week. You wouldn't tell me. Blah, blah, blah. All right, I'll play it someday, you guys. I
Yeah.
promise.
But let's get to your gameplay, Andrew.
Oh, I don't want to. I didn't play
Well, I do.
I
I
didn't
need to
play
know because I need to get the show on the road.
anything at all week. No, seriously though, I've been sitting at my desk a lot more instead of on my comfy chair. And
Right.
so
Playing Fallout 2.
I've been doing a lot less couch gaming and more Fallout 2 computer PC gaming. Fallout 2's been fun. I've kind of felt like the last couple weeks I hadn't made much progress. Like I kept getting to a certain point and then it would take me lots of fights and just lots of, dying and repeating the same thing, a few times in a row and getting sort of frustrated with that. I went from that to basically like blowing around the whole map and opening it up and like killing a bunch of shit and like pumping up like five levels in one game session, just like playing a ton.
So you kind of like crested the hill and now you're like,
I think
you're fine.
So. I don't want to, because I haven't, I can handle death claws and stuff, but I haven't really seen like a super mutant with a minigun and that sort of thing yet. So I don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm cool. But I finally bought some metal armor. I haven't seen any power armor or anything yet, but I'm trying not to look up too much, but I am looking up some stuff. My favorite weapon from Fallout 1 was the Power Fist. I thought it was really fucking fun. But I'm trying to do small guns build here, and that brings up something. I was pumping up my small guns, right? Can you explain to me why you can go over 100%? I don't know why.
Just the way the game's designed.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But I've pumped it up to like 135% or something like that. So my small guns were doing awesome. And then I went and I sold a bunch of stuff. I think I maybe sold sold the wrong gun, because now I was just like one-shotting stuff, and now I'm only doing like 4 or 5 damage again. But like all of my numbers are super high. I must have sold the wrong gun. I don't know what I was doing, and it's been long enough now where I can't revert and go back. That'd be so dumb. But I have pretty much opened there's still some dark squares in the map, especially in the middle. Mm-hmm. But what I have found is, you guys, we were talking about a little bit last week about how the map sizes and the orientation and stuff. And I was thinking that Fallout 2 was the Fallout 1 map plus more area or something.
It's really the top half of the Fallout 1 map and further north.
And not even. It's like the top 2 blocks, like the top strip. It really is just like Vault 13 and 15, because they were right, down the street from each other.
Right,
there.
and the NCR Shady Sands.
And then the Mariposa military base.
Right, because that was on the north.
All the way over by the coast there. But yeah, that's like 2 rows from the bottom in this map.
But you don't even get down to Junktown or Necropolis?
No.
Okay.
But there's like Arroyo way up on the top, and like San Francisco and all that. So it's like it really moves the action way north. But when that sort of hit me all at once, I was like, oh God, I know where we are. Like it's like, I've done this before. I've been here, because they really did like use the same assets and everything. And I walked up to Vault 13, and like they were talking about some, godlike figure who saved the world, and there's like, that sounds familiar. I think I may have played that one before. No, but right now, what I'm struggling with is I got to Vault 13. They have the Gek I need, which is actually the Gek I got the first time, I guess. So I'm getting the same Gek from Vault 13.
One Gek, slightly used.
I guess so. But that makes me wonder, oh no, does that mean... No, if you got the Gek, that means you had to be successful.
I mean, you were getting the water chip.
But then the water chip. You're right, it wasn't a Gek. Huh. Okay, never mind. I thought it was the same thing. But then that must have mean that, I don't know, did super mutants wipe out everything? I don't know what's in there.
That was a possible ending. Obviously that was one possible way it could go.
Yeah, so
the idea is that Vault 13 was over time abandoned, and people emerged as well, right?
People left.
Yeah, and I think they leave it undefined because of the fact it could go different ways in the
because the
original
ending,
game.
right, because the ending of the first game, all the different ways it could end. But anyway, I haven't gotten inside yet because there's like a little puzzle you have to figure out there. There's a mine cart and a stick, and I have a rocket, and I know that I have to push this cart. I've got this explosive rocket. I've got a stick. And I can't figure it out. I don't know. So I think I'm going to have to Google it just because I feel like I need to put the rocket on the ground by the door and then push the cart to hit it and blow the rocks away from the door or something similar to that, but I'm not really sure what the puzzle is wanting me to do. You know that in old games how they would just like say, "Yeah, fuck you, figure it out." they wouldn't give you any hints.
Yeah, some adventure games when you gotta for some reason gotta tape a weasel to a wall in order to get through a door. Like It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. And they're just like, yeah, go ahead, figure it out. Who cares? Let's see. Yeah, so I've just been running around having a good old time in Fallout 2. Right now, my character is parked at a NCR, which I always thought NCR was a faction, political organization, group, that sort of thing. I had no idea that it was a city.
Yeah, because they renamed Shady Sands. Everybody started calling Shady Sands NCR because it became the seat of power and the capital for the NCR.
So NCR refers to both the organization and the town now.
That's my understanding.
So weird.
Yep.
All right, I never understood that before. Okay. But it really is just Shady Sands, which is what, a northern Los Angeles suburb? What is Shady Sands supposed to be in our real life?
Well,
where is that supposed to be?
It's
do we know?
The southern Central Valley.
Right. Like we talked about. In the show, they located it as just a little north of LA. In the games, it's good bit north of LA.
Way north of LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good bit north, much closer to the Death Valley area.
Understood.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so I mentioned I'm doing small guns, and I was like, oh, this will be great because I'm having all these like encounters and everything. I'm finding that none of the bodies ever have ammo on them. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just go to vendors. But I find that vendors generally don't have a ton of ammo. I found like 2 vendors in the whole game so far that have, large stashes of ammo. And it's super frustrating because you go to vendors and you have these items that I'm picking up around the wasteland that, are sort of valuable. So, you get a couple of items that are worth 30, 40. I wanted to say caps, but they're not actually caps in this game, I don't think. Gold. I think they use gold. So I'm like 30 or 40 gold value in these items. And then you go to these vendors and they have 17 gold. So you can't sell anything because no one has enough gold. So you're just like, I need less valuable things, more items at less value, which sucks for your carry weight. You know what I mean? I just haven't found I still haven't found the great ratio. It's really is like relearning a whole new game again. Even though we did play Fallout 1, it's just still so different to have to figure out how to sort of manipulate the game in a different way, and they really just they don't hold your hand at all.
They really don't hold your hand. No.
That's why sneak melee is always the way to go. 100%.
There you go. No
every
bullets.
time.
Every time.
Yep, no bullets.
So I am an old man now. I'm going to complain about the barter screen on Fallout 2.
I mean, if it's anything like the barter screen of Fallout 1, complain away.
Oh my God.
It's the most bizarre little thing.
The exact same thing. And
hosting a swap meet.
My thing is, I was you know how you offer them and they'll say no, that deal is not good enough or whatever, unless you get exactly the right value that they need. So my old ass is looking at the value of the transaction on my side and their side. Mine says 708 gold. Theirs says 708 gold. And I'm like, why the fuck will they not accept this transaction? And I'm looking at it and everything. I take my phone and take a picture of the thing and then blow it up and look at it. One of them is 788 and one of them is 708. You know what I mean? So it's like the transaction. They have white block font on a light yellow background, so it's like impossible to decipher the numbers from the background, and the block numbers, the 0 has a slash through it, but the resolution of the screen isn't enough so that it looks like it's going diagonally, but it's just going straight across, exactly like an 8 would. So that anything that's a 0 looks like an 8, and 2s look like an 8 because the resolution's so bad. It's just but it's embarrassing to admit that I have to, while bartering, use my telephone to blow up as a magnifying glass to actually play the game. I'm like,
well, you could use the true old man gaming tool,
the magnifying glass.
I have at every one of my
you do.
A nice little magnifying glass.
I was just about to say, I knew my dad was finally old when he would have the magnifying glass on his nightstand there, or his table by his chair when he would read the newspaper. If he had to pull out the magnifying glass, I knew that he's officially old. But I need my gaming magnifying glass, Ray.
Yes, indeed. I've got one at every computer.
Or a larger monitor. A really, really large monitor.
No, that doesn't always help.
No, that's true.
Because then that only works if you use at a lower resolution than it runs at. Because my big monitor is a 4K, and if
everything's still 4K, tiny.
Everything's still tiny.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's just crisp. It's very crisp and very tiny.
Very crisp.
Super small.
Yeah, so just bust out the magnifying glass.
Yep, I'm going to get a couple of magnifying glasses to have at my gaming stations. Oh, boy.
The guys in chat are laughing about you talking about the money being gold. And they're like, wait, is gold bullion in the game? I'm telling them it's gold coins.
Bullion. Yeah, it's coins. It's weird.
Doubloons.
So
Oliver says they're septims.
So that means it was a Bethesda decision to change the currency to bottle caps.
Well, it was caps in the first game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Southern California thing. You're in gold country.
The gold rush.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, it was caps in the first game.
I think I'm crazy. Is it gold in the second game? Am I just being stupid? Is it?
No, it
is
is gold in the second game. Yeah.
Are you sure? Wow. Okay.
Last I knew.
Huh.
Isn't it? I mean, it's those are NCR dollars. I think it's probably. Is it both? You're the one who's played Fallout 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
We just looked at it.
They look like literally. They look like coins, but I don't know. I'm thinking, oh my god, what if they're caps and I'm an idiot?
But yeah, it's like when you get into New Vegas, you know what I mean? You've got NCR dollars, you've got pre-war money, and you've got caps.
Yep. Yep, and Caesar's coins.
Mm-hmm. Ew. With denarius. That's what they're called, denarius.
Yep.
Yeah, so everybody wants to be the king and have their own coinage.
It's good to be king.
That's what I hear. So that sounds like fun, Andrew. I'm glad you're having a good time with it and actually you to sit down and playing it.
Oh no, it's a blast. It's a blast. It really. I mean, I know you guys Fallout 1 wore on you a little bit. I kind of had fun with it, but I don't know how much of it I was actually having fun with, or I was just like, I was enjoying it more because you guys were enjoying it so little.
I mean, the story is good. The games are cool. Seeing like all the origins, like there was a lot to love about it. I just struggle with the interface after a while. I even like turn-based combat normally. It's just it's The old games are a bit of a struggle as you go, but they're worth it. I mean, totally worth it. And Fallout 2 has so much personality from what I've seen, you know?
I mean, everyone says that, and I don't want to start like a controversy or anything, but so far it is an exact continuation of the first game. I haven't noticed any huge differences that I'd be like, oh, Fallout 2 is way better than 1. You know, like it to me, they seem like extremely similar games.
So it's bigger. I mean, it is bigger. Is it sillier that you've seen? Or you haven't really seen it being much sillier. The same silly.
No, but I don't have like the not Wasteland Wonder. What's that? That
Wild Wasteland.
Wild Wasteland perk or anything like that going on. So, but let's see. No, I can't really think of any like just crazy outrageous. Like in Fallout 1. I had that Godzilla foot come and smash me.
Right, we had Godzilla foot. We had TARDIS, talking Brahmin.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen anything like that yet in Fallout 2. But granted, I've only played like, a couple weeks in comparison to, months that we were in Fallout 1. So, and I have like the whole interior like cells of the map that I need to crisscross a bunch of times. Like in Fallout 1, it was just like kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So eventually you interact with all the weird encounters that they have there in the
Have you found the Hubologists?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they're in 2. Great.
Yep, they are in 2. I just ran into them recently and talked to them a little bit and figured, they need me to do a bunch of stuff before I can actually dig into whatever they want me to do. So I'm going to set this one on the back burner for a little bit. I've actually done that surprisingly with just about everyone I've run into. Like I will start the quest with some lady be like, "Oh help! I think someone, kidnapped my daughter into slavery. Will you look into it?" Okay, you need to go talk to this guy over here at the Slavers Guild, and I'm like, "You have a fucking Slavers Guild?" Ooh, good lord. So like you go over there to the Slavers Guild and you talk to the guy and he's like, "Oh, well, you need to do this, this, and this before." And I'm like, all right, we'll be doing that later. So
later.
sorry about your daughter, lady, but we're going to tackle that in a couple weeks when I get a little more experience points under
my belt. So you're hitting the surface on some of these while you kind of progress other parts of the story. That makes like, sense.
I'm progressing to areas I shouldn't be in yet because you know me, I love to open up a map. But there's some things that I obviously am running into that I'm not leveled up for yet. And not just like skill wise in fights, but also like to be able to progress certain quests with, getting access to keys and computer codes and talking to the right people and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But still having a blast.
Cool. I want to keep hearing about it. I'm glad. When you dig into those quests, I want to hear about them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's supposedly the big thing, I guess, is the amount of side quests and all that cool, like silly stuff you were saying. So I'm excited to hopefully run into a lot of that random stuff because I'm not finding a lot of like quest markers and such to like give me a lot of guidance. So it's a lot of just wandering around and seeing what's happening. And Lou made the mistake of telling me that the magic blue guy who appears in the sky and says, "Oh, chosen one, do not forget us. We are running out of water. You need to return with the Gek to help us so we don't die in the vault." Lou made the mistake of telling me that guy is just sort of like a reminder, hey, we're still here. It's not an actual... There's a countdown clock going on like in Fallout 1. Like we had a time limit in Fallout 1 where your people would die if you didn't get the water chip back in time. But Lou said, that's just merely a suggestion more than anything. And now that he told me that, I'm just going to be like, okay. Have fun down there in the vault, guys. I'm just going to crisscross the wasteland up here and see if I can open up the whole map. Not while you guys say, "Oh, I'm thirsty." Yeah. So that's my gameplay. Let's go ahead and roll into the rest of the show, shall we? We've got a terminal velocity from Radioactive Rebecca. I don't think I mentioned that off the top of the show. I kind of typed that in here later. We've also got some game time and Guana Bits yet to get into. So
yeah,
why don't we check in with Radioactive Rebecca and then see what's up next.
This is Rebecca, still in Diamond City. This is the final terminal and it's Piper's. Nat was a bit reluctant to let me see it, but when I told her that I was collecting the information so that it could be immortalised, she seemed to change her mind. There's a lot on here though, so I might need more than one holotape. Public occurrences. Your eyes on the truth. Article. The synthetic truth. Noodles. We all eat them. We all love them, and Diamond City's Power Noodles has supplied this sustenance for the past 15 years. From the stilted mechanical cadence of Takahashi's programmed Japanese, to the fragrant steam that wafts from each bowl, to the scalding tang of each delicious mouthful, the ordering and eating of noodles is but one of many shared human experiences. Or is it? I was struck by this very question as I sat at the counter of Power Noodles last Wednesday night just after 5 p.m, enjoying a dinner I had so many times before. That's when I noticed our very own Mayor McDonough sidle up to a stall and engage in the very same ritual. Right hand extending, mouth opening, teeth chewing. Yes, eating noodles, the shared experience of almost every Diamond City resident. So it must have also seemed to the residents of Diamond City nearly 60 years ago, on an uncharacteristically warm May evening in 2229, as they say around this very same counter. But that was before the days of Takahashi and his noodles, when the bar served not noodles, but ice-cold Nuka-Colas, frothy beers, and stiff shots of whiskey. The barman's name was Henry, and that night he facilitated the shared human experiences of drinking, smoking, talking, and laughing. That is, until tragedy struck. There aren't many among us who are even old enough to remember that evening, although some of the city's ghoul residents certainly could have, had they not been forcibly removed, thanks to Mayor McDonough's anti-ghoul decree of 2282. But there is one person among us who does remember, distinctly, the events of that evening. Respected matriarch Eustace Hawthorne, who recounted her story in a Public Occurrences exclusive interview. Oh, I was there all right, sitting right at the bar, sure as you're sitting in front of me now. 22 years old or so, and just looking to have a good time. I was safe behind the wall. We all were. So what was the harm? And let me tell you, that Mr. Carter made it easy. He came into town earlier that day, said he was from out west somewhere. It didn't really matter. What did matter was his smile and his laugh and the way he'd make everyone feel at ease. That night at the bar, we all just sort of crowded around him. Everyone wanted to exchange a word or hear about the state of the Commonwealth, and Mr. Carter, he was all too happy to oblige. It was just so wonderful, until it wasn't. Eustace continued her account of that evening and the moment when things turned sinister, and the truth about Mr. Carter was revealed. We'd been drinking and carrying on must have been 3 hours. Mr. Carter had 4 or 5 drinks in that time. He seemed a bit drunk, I guess, like the rest of us. Then something just sort of happened. He was smiling, but the smile sort of went from his face all in an instant. And then his cheek started twitching, kind of funny. And I remember watching him, clear as if it happened just yesterday. He reached inside his coat, took out a revolver, and then, blam, he shot Henry the barman right in the head. Didn't hesitate, didn't show any emotion. Mr. Carter killed Henry as casually as if he were paying him for a drink. But his cheek never did stop twitching. Let me tell you, all hell broke loose after that. What Eustace is describing is, of course, the infamous event known as the Broken Mask. when the people of the Commonwealth learnt for the first time that the Institute, the shadowy scientific organisation responsible for the creation of combat androids, had actually succeeded in creating a model of android so advanced it could effortlessly infiltrate human society. Unbeknownst to the people of Diamond City, the Institute had somehow evolved their androids into true synthetic humanoids. Synths. After he shot Henry, that Mr. Carter shot 3 or 4 other people too. Like I said, all hell broke loose. The guards came running. They opened fire, and Mr. Carter, he kept shooting and throwing people around left and right. Finally, those guards put him down. Seemed like they killed a man who had flipped his lid. Gone crazy. And he lay there like a dead, crazy man, sure enough. God, it was horrible. But then we saw the plastic and the metal. This was one of them early synths, you see, and we realised it wasn't a man at all. It was then we all knew. The Institute wasn't just out there. The Institute was everywhere now. Among us. It was never determined precisely why the synth known as Mr. Carter went on his killing spree. Some suggested he had somehow been remotely controlled by the Institute, who wanted to test his combat effectiveness. Still others felt he had simply malfunctioned, a hypothesis supported by the twitching cheek, and was never meant to kill anyone. But at that time, the why hardly seemed important. What mattered was that the humans of the Commonwealth had been truly infiltrated by an organisation whose intentions and motives were, and still are, a complete mystery. Which brings us to noodles. Specifically, the noodles consumed by Mayor McDonough last Wednesday night, in the same spot that Mr. Carter, the synth, went haywire and mercilessly killed several people after spending hours sharing an experience the people of Diamond City assumed was reserved for members of the human race. They were wrong. Are we?
If you would like to participate in our Fallout Terminal Velocity project, please find your favorite terminal entries, your favorite holotapes and letters around the wasteland, and send them in to the Fallout feed at gmail.com. What are your thoughts on that section there, Mr. Carter, and the, what was it, the mask, the broken mask?
Broken mask.
Yeah.
I love the story. And that's one of Piper's longest articles. It's a great one. I mean, I enjoy all of Piper's articles. There's a mod called Public Currents Expanded 2 that gives you a bunch more from her over time.
Where is that found? Is that in, or is that just an issue that you pick up on the
That's actually the issue that came out before you arrived, and that's the reason why Piper was kicked out of the city briefly.
Oh,
you know,
right.
They didn't want to let her back in. Because even though the actual framing of it is just, you know, her sitting there and the mayor coming and sitting, and she's not like outright accusing him, but, you know, she's just like questioning.
Because he's repetitive like a robot, because he was eating the same.
No, just
the same
just a
chopping.
thought.
Okay.
We know that there was more to it than that, of course, like her suspicions and
yeah, she was suspicious because of the couriers that would come and go.
Yep. Yeah, she had actual reasons. She just used him for the framing in the article there, sitting eating noodles, just like on that night so many years ago. Yeah.
Very nice.
But I think it's just a really cool story. It's neat seeing how and why Diamond City came to fear the Institute so much, and how they became the boogeyman way more than they were before. That plus people disappearing, you know, possibly being kidnapped and replaced over the course of the last several years. It's a lot.
One of the cruxes of the whole Fallout 4 game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, let's get into some iguana bits, and maybe we'll play a game.
I'd rather play a game first.
Really? All right. Well,
I mean, I don't know about you, but I love
Do you
the
like
map of the
games?
wasteland.
You don't like the map of the wasteland. Nobody likes the Mappital Wasteland. Okay, let's play a game of Mappital Wasteland. What do you guys say? Let's get into it.
What time is it? Game time!
Okay, Mappital Wasteland. This week we are returning across the pond, going back to London.
Ray has a real advantage now since he's explored so much.
He's explored the map. I know you guys were saying.
Then I'd have to actually remember.
You were all like, Jess was, hey, close the tab where you had the goddamn map open earlier in the show. I know you have the tab open.
Already closed. Yeah. But it was funny. I had the map, but it wasn't labeled. Like there were no, it was just the road map, no actual icons.
Okay. All right. So we'll just bounce back and forth and have a good old time saying locations. And Fallout
Northeast,
London. Yeah. So we'll start with you, Jess. Which is further north? Shakespeare's Globe or the Bank of England?
Oh, geez. I'm going to say Bank of England.
You are correct. Good job, Jess.
That was a guess. I haven't found them.
Ray.
But I've seen them before the game came out.
Beautiful. Ray, which is further south? The Hound or the Prilladog Food Factory? Is that pronounced Prilladog?
It is.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm worried I'm going to stumble over these words because, the Brits have those crazy pronunciations sometimes.
That would be the Hound.
The Hound is correct, Ray.
Significantly further south. And Prilladog is the username, the screen name, gamer tag of the lead director, game director.
Very cool. Good job. All right, Jess, which is further east? The Winchester Palace or the Vauxhall Grove construction site?
Oh, no. Let's go with Vauxhall Grove. I'm wrong, aren't I?
You are incorrect.
Ray, do you want to steal?
That's the only problem with this game. It makes the steal a little obvious.
Yeah.
Ray, which is further west? Covent Garden or Submarine Dock?
Which is farther west?
Further west.
I'm going to go Covent Garden.
That is correct, Ray.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think that's the furthest west settlement, right? You can get a settlement there.
Yep, I believe.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them right in that same area.
I was looking at the map, and they're all pretty close together, so I assume you start on the other fuck end of the map from there, right?
Yeah.
Kind of right in the middle. But yeah.
Right on. All right, thanks for playing this week's edition of...
What time is it? Game time!
The Mappital Wasteland. I do have another one set up if you'd like to play after.
I thought you were just going to keep going.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Oh, gee whiz, you guys. Okay, we'll
we're so bossy.
Right into it. Are you guys ready?
What time is it? Game time!
Round 2. Mappital Wasteland. What other game are we playing right now, everybody? That's right, Fallout 2.
No.
You guys have never played this game, so good fucking luck.
And yet somehow I think Ray and I know the map better.
You probably know better than I do. Well, Ray actually lived there, so he might actually know some of these places. Ray will let you go first.
I don't think they use the same names on everything.
They don't.
But
okay.
Go for it.
Which is further north, San Francisco or New Reno?
That would be New Reno.
New Reno is further north. Good job. Jess, which is further south? Vault 13 or Navarro?
I'll take Vault 13 for 600, Alex.
For 700 even, I'll give you an extra 100 for that. Good job. Vault 13 is further south than Navarro. Ray, which is further east? And I'm going to mess up however this town is pronounced. Golgotha or Reading? Is that Golgotha? Is that a real town? Is that a real thing?
Nothing that I've ever heard of.
Golgotha.
Golgotha. And
Yeah.
is that sort of like a Novak where they combining words, or what's that one from Fallout 3? The where they're on the bridge.
Oh, Arafu.
Arafu, right.
So Golgotha is another name for Calvary, where Jesus was right near where Jesus was crucified, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a biblical scholar.
It's
okay. So Golgotha or Reading?
I have no idea where that is, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, good answer. That is further east than Reading. Jess, to wrap it up, which is further west? Vault City or Modoc?
Modoc.
Modoc is further west. Good job. Thanks, everyone, for playing our second edition of...
What time is it? Game time!
Mappital Wasteland. All right.
We are such bullies. We bullied you into 2 games of Mappital
Oh, my God.
Wasteland.
I was fighting you so hard, you just twisted my arm right into it. But now you have no choice. It is time.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up.
You have been summoned.
Wow, these seem a little cold. Almost like they were ready a few minutes ago. And I should have come when I was called.
Oh, my
but
God. Don't you dare.
I kid, but hot off the press is actually not cold at all. Next season starts September 3rd. Season 19 of the Shoreboard, aka the Scoreboard, but we all know now, starts September 3rd. Yes, the update is coming, y'all, and it's going to be sooner than expected. I'm sorry, I excited I clapped. So we knew it would probably be early in September, but right at the beginning. So look forward to that. Means you have 4 to 5 more weeks to, 4, if the math is mathin', 4 weeks to kind of get stuff done on your scoreboard.
Right.
Head to that beautiful fabled scorecation in the sky.
I'm level 4. You think I can do it? 96 levels?
I mean, I think you could. Knowing you could, but I don't think you need to. It's fine. It's fine. You're having fun in 2.
I'll just go run over to...
You could do it in a week.
Fallout 2 over here again.
Exactly. But yeah, so I was excited to find that out. That news came from during QuakeCon today, which, like I said, we thought it was around that time, but that is when the update will be coming. And we've got the big update, as we know, Milepost 0 coming up. Let's get into other things in the world of 76. This week's Atomic Shop bundles. Well, let's talk about the bundle. So there have been some, cool things in the Atomic Shop lately, as always. That's great. But there is a bundle that's causing a little bit of, dare I say it, you've never heard this word in relation to Fallout before, controversy.
What?
I know, right? Horrors. Yeah, so there's a Fallout First bundle that came out this week. Fallout First bundle, and that's kind of the thing. So it's called the Triumph Terrace bundle. The Triumph Terrace is a new shelter, and the bundle includes the new shelter plus a cool ass home like we got in Sanctuary. Your classic kind of Sanctuary house. There's a version of it in red, but you can actually get a Sanctuary home prefab now, which is awesome.
That's great.
And you get a cool mineral extractor skin. You get a Vault-Tec ammo box, Vault-Tec scrap box, all of that in the bundle. And the new shelter area looks a lot like Sanctuary. It's a green field, walled in and fenced in, with the road coming through to a little curve and the whole, roundabout with a tree in the middle. It's very Sanctuary.
So what's the controversy?
Well, there are 2. First of all, it's a Fallout First bundle. If you're not Fallout First, you're not getting this bundle. So it's not for everybody, even if you got the atoms. Your money's no good here, sir, unless you have Fallout First.
Okay.
Controversy number 2. You can only build 1 per camp. 1 Triumph Terrace track house.
Oh, so you can't build a neighborhood. Oh, that's
you can't build Sanctuary. You can't build a neighborhood. You can't, most everybody uses one of these, would kind of want to put down a couple if they want to recreate Sanctuary or their own version of, that kind of development. So, yeah, both of those are a little controversial, especially the Fallout First thing, of course. But that said, it's very cool. It's just like your home in Sanctuary. Looks wonderful. Actually, it's better. It's like your home in Sanctuary pre-war.
How about in what is creative mode called in Fallout 76 again? I forget.
Custom.
How about custom mode? Can you plop a couple of them down in custom mode?
No, I think there's still the same limit.
Really?
I haven't tried, but
very interesting.
Actually, I don't think I bought this bundle yet. To be honest,
that's the same with the like the Brotherhood Tower and stuff. You can't put 2 of those in a camp, right?
Right. A lot of prefabs have a limit of 1 to 3 at most, and a lot of them are just 1. So that's not unusual, just for the item specifically and in that shelter.
But it would be cool to have a neighborhood. You're right. Roads?
Besides that, they still have the super duper.
Is there a roads kit to like put a little street through your neighborhood? That'd be fun too.
You have to kind of do it with foundations or a mix of things now. I mean, we've got the old destroyed highway bridge set and a few things like that.
Okay.
There are ways to kind of make a road looking deal, but there's not a full like road with yellow markers and stuff on it anymore. Yeah. An asphalt set. They should call it the asphalt road set. Love it. Anyway,
They definitely should.
yeah. So that bundle's out there. Also, the Super Duper Mart bundle is still available in the shop. That one I do like. Super Duper Mart is a really cool prefab.
Nice.
Remember to log in every couple days, though. If you wait too long, it will turn into a Spirit of Halloween store like any other store. So
This time of year, it happens to those abandoned stores.
it happens. Yep. So make sure to log into the game regularly. You never know who's going to take over your Super Duper Mart.
That was good.
Also, in big news, non-76 related, the Vault 13 mod demo is out. So
Vault
some of you may have heard
13
about this.
mod
The
demo.
Vault 13 is seeking to kind of recreate the first game in the Fallout 4 engine. Another total conversion, like London or Miami or some of the others. They've been doing pretty good on it. You may have seen some demos. Some people have done videos walking through it. They got sneak peeks. Well, now there's a demo for everybody. Andrew,
Yes?
oh wait, you need a gaming PC to do this. I'm sorry. Okay. People who aren't Andrew and have gaming PCs.
Do you hear that, Ray? It's the knife twisting between my lower ribs there. She's just twisting and twisting.
The rudest. I feel like the worst. But
No, you don't.
I feel much better when I play Fallout 13 Vault demo. So yeah, it's as what they have released so far is how far they've gotten. They have you can explore Vault 13, 15, Shady Sands, down to the Khan's gang area. So basically the whole top 4 plus the surrounding areas of the game are available to go through. You can go through, you can meet the NPCs. They don't have voice files yet. It's all text dialogue. I believe there is some, you can have like text-to-speech reading it to you if you want as an option. But there are quests in there. Scorpion Cave is there, I'm sure. Stuff like that. So it was released a day or 2 ago. It's up on the Nexus if you want to download it. And people are saying it's very cool. Very cool. Like we don't have enough Fallout stuff happening already, right? Between London and 76 updates and this. I mean, it's awesome.
I just wish there was more Fallout represented in pop culture right now. It's almost like no one acknowledges Fallout exists or something. Oh wait, it's the exact opposite of that. Fallout is fucking everywhere right now.
I don't mind. I do not mind.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's neat when something you like becomes popular, but still, let's be honest, we're still niche popular.
Well,
yeah, a lot of people have heard of it now with the TV show and stuff, but we're still, niche popular.
I mean, I think it's cool that it's now sort of like cool, but my mom, did I tell you my mom watched it? Did I tell you my? Did I tell you my?
You did.
She watched it unprompted. Huh?
My almost 80-year-old mother watched the Fallout show. She was out to visit my brother, and my brother was like, "Oh, I'm going to watch this Fallout show," and my mom was like, "Oh, isn't that the game that Andrew does his podcast about?" He's like, "Well, it certainly is." She's like, "Well, let's check that out." After the first episode, her opinion was, "Ugh, what does Andrew like about that?"
I'm not surprised. It might have been a little bit gory. Did she keep watching or just the one?
After episode 7, her comment was, "Steven, no, you can't go to bed. We have to finish it tonight."
Good job, Mom. There was much rejoicing.
She loved it by the end, but was really, I guess, turned out grossed out, I guess. I don't know. She's not a gore person at all.
It starts out pretty, I mean, let's be honest, the whole contrast of the scene in the first thing, when they're getting us into that 50s vibe and the vault and all that, and then to just have that attack. It's if you're not ready for it or the language.
The whole part of it about being popular in pop culture too is we're just absolutely so lucky that the project was handled by people who did it well and cared. You know, like the Halo people, I hear Halo fans scream about how horrible that series is, but we're just lucky that it was well done. You know what I mean?
That canceled series. It's not in the Iguana Bits, but people who haven't heard, Paramount Plus is not renewing Halo for a third season. They are shopping around looking for a home.
Woof.
A lot of Halo fans were a bit disappointed with the way things were handled in the story. The second season was considered by many to be a lot closer to the Chief as we know him than the first. But the fact that at the end of the second season, he's only just getting to stuff we know from the game. And, there's all kinds of things. I won't get into it here, but yeah. Hopefully it finds a home because it did have fans, but it wasn't what people were looking for. We did get lucky there. Anyway, back to the bits.
Sorry.
So, besides the Vault 13 mod, we have QuakeCon. QuakeCon did start yesterday, and we are on day 3 now because we're past midnight, I guess. It's been going well. We've seen there have been some big announcements there, so I just grabbed some news for you. So, I'm going to start off with the big news. Can I share my screen with you guys right now? Let's try. Okay, you guys, here's a big announcement, surprise announcement from QuakeCon for you.
Okay.
It's about Fallout 76.
Ooh.
Live reactions.
Big robot, lots of shooting. Mole miners.
Angry, mean
Flashing. Oh, a big cobra, basilisk. What?
Yes, a surprise update. The Gleaming Depths. So we are going to have an update. This is after Milepost Zero with a new boss, a new raid area of sorts. Not necessarily an expedition, but a team battle that we don't know everything about it yet. I don't think it's triggered by a nuke. And I don't think it's like Earl where you can have a team of 4 go in. But there's going to be there's going to be a new area, new large battle dungeon with people. And the final boss is this crazy cobra creature.
Yeah. Huge snake guy.
Yeah, huge snake guy. So I wanted you guys to see that live.
Very neat. Where is that? I mean, I assume it's like
under the ash heap area. I'm thinking, but I see like shards that look kind of. Yeah, it could be into the Cranberry Bog, but I'm thinking that would be too close to like the Glass Caverns and Scorch Beast area.
Yeah,
so
the crystals kind of look Glass Cavernish a little bit.
They do, yeah. But anyway, I thought that was really neat. So surprise announcement about the next update after Milepost Zero. But let's see, what do we get at QuakeCon for announcements? So they announced some creations happening. A big creation coming out. Of course, as we know, creations are the what they call mods now for Skyrim and Starfield. Not Fallout yet, but Skyrim and Starfield. There is a big one happening with the Bard's College. It's made by King Gas team. And what is it called? I don't know if I know the official name. I think it's just called the Bard's College. Maybe. But it
is
will be available
the,
in many.
the Bard's College expanded or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they've built it all out.
It's by the people who did Sim Settlements, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the East Empire expansion that just happened. So you can become a performer with them. You can go through the school, do all the quests. There are new companions. There are new methods of combat. It says there's verbal sparring with other bards. You can fling insults and retorts with devastating precision. Vicious mockery is a new skill you can get. And yeah, so a fully voiced quest line, dungeons, mini games, new shouts and abilities, bardic skills, and much more. So it is available in the Creation Engine now. So that was just announced, came out.
Hopefully they pulled that bit from Become a Bard, and you have to, in that mod, you have to go perform.
Right.
And when you first start out, people are like, oh my God, make it stop.
Yeah, that's so great. Yeah,
and then as you perform more and more, you get better and better. people
better
start
skill.
clapping and
Level up. Yeah, because there are a couple like that. Become a Bard is a fun one. And there's another, that's why I didn't want to say Bard's College Expanded, because I think that's the name of the old one, where you went in and you had a few quests involved and stuff. So this is just called Bard's College, but looks pretty awesome. Besides that, let's see. Oh, Doom updates. So if you're a long-time gamer, like many of us are, an elder gamer, as we may say, you may have actually played the original Doom back in the 90s. Doom and
gamer.
Doom. For a little while, you guys on Skyrimatic, didn't you used to call it like elder gamers for like a couple months? You're doing a little segment there. Anyway,
yeah.
So Doom 1 and 2 are released on all systems. They have been remade. I don't think remaster is probably the word. I don't think it's a full remake. I think it's a remaster. But I mean, because they can play on Xbox and PlayStation and stuff now, it kind of is. So yeah, Doom is out. Let me read the official thing. It's called Doom 1 and 2, Doom Official. New content, added enhancements. You can play them on your PC, but also online, co-op and deathmatch multiplayer. Plus a brand new mission called Legacy of Rust. And it's on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. Yes, you can frag fools on the go with Doom. So that was pretty awesome. And they also announced the Doom Anthology, which is all the classic Doom games all together in one. And they're even, oh my God, I didn't know this. I'm reading this right now. So, because this was yesterday and Doom news, I didn't tune into it. I just heard about it after. They are doing a limited run with limited run games of physical edition of Doom on the Super Nintendo. You're going to get a cartridge. If you still have a Super Nintendo, you can play Doom on your Nintendo.
Oh, that's awesome. Good promo item.
That's brilliant. 30 some years later. That is really cool. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, sad news. Sad news. You remember how I talked this update up? It's the whole, you're going to be able to use it with the Blue Ridge Caravan. You're going to get a cool cavern home, your own little lair.
Home on the range. Yeah.
Vendors. All that is happening as planned. You remember when I said, I found holotapes and stuff saying that Mischief Knight is coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Lies.
No.
Lies.
Tease. God, I was excited for that.
After Nuclear Winter, the things people wanted most out of this update, the ones like the big carrot on the stick, yeah, they're still having trouble with it, even at the new location. It was on the PTS. It's not anymore. And they're saying it probably won't be ready to come out this fall for Halloween on time.
Talk about mischief.
I am just shocked. I have no idea.
They are never late with anything and never push stuff off.
I mean, they occasionally, put stuff on the roadmap that don't get done. It's been a little while. They've been better the last 2-3 years, to be honest. It was really the first 3 years of the game.
It was really only the first 6 years of the game that they really pushed stuff off.
We're not quite 6 years in, but yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, the first 3 years, you knew that the last item or two on the roadmap wasn't actually going to happen. It usually didn't. But they've been better. But this one, no, it's a big tease. So I'm a little upset. I would have thought that they would allow us to let the servers crash a little more. I mean, hell, we get fast knocked. Fast knock causes issues. Just let us have Mischief Knight. We really, really, really want it. But delayed.
Darn exploding cars.
Yeah, don't know when. There was a fun discussion panel at QuakeCon today. Today they did the Inside the Vault on stage. I was actually kind of trying to watch it after work before the show, so I didn't quite see the whole thing. But it was a Q&A. They talked a lot about what's coming at Mapos here, which you already know a lot of it. They got deeper in depth on how best builds will work and other things like that. I'm hoping they cut it out as a separate video. It's in the middle of a 4-hour live stream right now, so I had to scrub to find some of the information. But that really neat stuff. Best builds looks cooler than I thought. You'll be able to kind of put your camp. Best builds is a system where you can submit your camp to be part of a system that will spawn on other people's maps. And if they get upvotes, a lot of best build upvotes, it'll make it spawn more often, and it'll basically allow us to make all of our camps public if we're not on, propagate across more maps. Just a fun way to see some of your favorite or very memorable builds in the Wasteland. So that's really neat. But they got into a Q&A section, a lot of talk about where the game's going. One tough question was kind of about PvP, if they were ever really going back to leaning into that. And no, they're saying that the way the player base plays and everything they've seen shows that people aren't really interested in that, and it was mentioned again, Nuclear Winter, people who liked it really liked it, but it was always a very small percentage of the player base, sadly. But yeah, Mapo Zero is rolling out, and like we said, the date is going to be September 3rd for Season 19, and that's starting. So that's cool. I thought it might be later in September. Beyond that, we also got the Unveil of Gleaming Depths, and I might get deeper into the Q&A over the next week, and if I find any cool tidbits for everybody, I will share then. But like I said, I didn't get to watch much of it before the show. In other big news, we already talked about it at the top of the show with Ray and I, but the Fallout London first hotfix is out. It is it's funny because, they let us know it was coming. We talked about it in the Discord, and the first hotfix is dealing with a few game-breaking quest issues, and major things people noticed, and then things causing crashing. Like, those were the things they were hitting first. The big crashes we know about, kind of fixing the way things were implemented, because the way that we had to install Buffout 4 and stuff that is now built into the install, stuff like that to make it work. But the next actual, the big update they're doing that they're not calling a hotfix. So this was still bigger than I would call a normal hotfix. But the next big one they're doing is going to have much more stabilization features where they're redoing some of the pre-combines and previs after they fix everything else. Actually looking at, added content and major tweaks and stuff like that. Taking a quick look at the patch notes, I'm seeing is there anything we ought to shout out. I guess I will talk about the install real quick for people who don't know. So people who have it installed already with London, you may remember how you had to install by going to GOG and downloading the update or downloading the original game and then clicking play to actually finish the install. This is the same, right, Ray? You download it and then you click play/install to actually install it onto your setup. You don't need to. So it's going to add some things. It'll copy over the top of the files you already have. So if you have Buffout installed, don't worry about it. It will write over your Buffout. It'll set stuff up. It will write over your INI file, your INI file, and it will write over your plugins if you're doing that stuff manually. So you might want to back up if you have a lot of stuff in your custom INI or something. You might want to back that up if you have settings. And after you run it, there is one extra step that they have. So it's about the batch file. I'm looking for that real quick. I don't see the notes exactly, but after you install it, Ray, and is there a README file that comes with it?
I wasn't going off of README. I was going off of the instructions that they had posted.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so you go into your Fallout 4 data folder, whether it's the GOG version, Steam version, and there is a file called London World Space Clearup.bat. Double click that and run that, and it'll clean up any duplicate or extra files left over that they're no longer using with the change. So I just wanted to mention that. And then, just a ton of quest fixes, gameplay stat tweaks, things like the beer mat multipliers are fixed. For people who didn't know, Churchill, your dog, he was using the mongrel dog, attack dog, pitter pat of his feet, which is why he was kind of a little bit of a loud stomping doggy. And now he's using the dog meat ones, stuff like that. It does say audio voice tweaks, missing dialogue implemented, including missing beefy lines implemented. So I wonder if that actually fixed your beefy, Ray, if you haven't talked to him since.
I haven't talked to him since.
So there's a few audio fixes like that and quest fixes and stuff.
So the one thing you do want to do is after you've run the patcher and the cleanup file, then go back and add your plugin text.
Mm-hmm.
to add back any other mods that you might want to run, like photo mode and
right. If you'd been installing them manually,
immersive HUD and all that stuff, all those files will still be in place in your data folder. You don't have to re-download them, but it does rewrite the plugin.txt file.
Yeah, what I actually did before the show, I renamed my plugins file to plugins.old. So, I do that. I'll do the install and then I'll just copy plugins.old over to the current plugins just to kind of keep it the same.
Yeah.
And so I like to do a little rename backup method.
Yeah. But, there's some of them that you won't need to carry over. Like I had the beer mat fix.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't carry that one over because they're fixed. And also the Baka framework.
Right. They removed the framework. Yes, the Wookiee fix.
The Chewbacca framework.
The Baka framework. I didn't even get it. Oh my God. Beautiful. But yeah, so they removed that entirely. They said it wasn't doing what they wanted it to do. And now they're relying on buff out.
Yeah. And I had done a manual install of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't need that anymore. So I just stuck with the overwrite that they did.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm going to, so like the beer mats, I will get rid of a few things like that. I think I'm keeping all my other things. There was a mod that came out that I want to highlight because it's a big one. It's called All Clothes as Fashion, and it turns all the cool new clothes in London into Under Armour. So there was a really complicated one that did that. It was called Fallout London Gear, but it did all kinds of other things too. So if you just want your clothing to be Under Armour, it's called All Clothes as Fashion. I'm gonna get that one on. But right after the show, I'll probably do the install. Just I finished work. I went and I watched QuakeCon bits to kind of get any good news, and that was it. Finally, back to the sad news. Although, is it really? No, because we got so much to do. So, Avowed, the game I'm most looking forward to this year, is now delayed to February. It does have a date, February 18th. That's for those who don't know, it's the new fantasy game from Obsidian that has a very Skyrim vibe, but a cross between Outer Worlds and Skyrim. So we'll see how it goes. But it's been delayed to February. But that's fine, because I got Fallout London, I got 76, and we got the new Dragon Age coming, which doesn't have a date yet, but people are starting to think is most likely going to be mid-October to early November. And that's all the bits I have for this week.
Good bits. Well, you missed one, but I checked it for you.
Tell me.
Castles is still not available, Jess, and I'm highly disappointed.
You know what? That's going to be the QuakeCon special presentation, okay? Tomorrow?
Right.
Tomorrow, they're doing the big old camp showcase and voting, which, by the way, my friend Renee is hosting.
No way.
Yay. She's going to be there on stage,
awesome.
helping host the camp contest. Yeah.
Can watch
Super
lives?
Psyched. I'm going to try to watch live for sure.
Nice.
But that'll be fun. Camp contest. 20,000 atoms, 3 categories.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. But then they're going to be one more thing.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be castles, but maybe.
No, they've taught me over years and years of abuse to give up all hope of stuff I want.
I mean, hopefully. Gosh, we don't know.
I'm just bitter about Fallout 4 not being on Switch, and you can play
Skyrim.
I can play Skyrim on my goddamn Alexa.
Fallout 3 remastered on Switch, Fallout 4 on Switch, any of them? I mean, you're over it at this point. You don't even care anymore.
No, you can tell. I'm not even bitter.
You didn't want it anyway.
All. Nah, I don't care. Way over. God damn it.
Oh, we could hear something. That QuakeCon doesn't usually get big announcements except for already happening games.
Yeah.
But Gamescom will be in a couple of weeks, so maybe we'll find something there. And Gamescom, as people know, is the biggest gaming convention.
Gamescom,
it's kind of the...
Then there's E3, then there's the Nintendo Showcase, then there's...
Yeah. It's Gamescom is one of the 3 biggest of the year where things actually get announced. So maybe.
Hopefully. Come on, Castles. Even though I watched the trailer for it, it doesn't look much like Fallout Shelter.
No, it doesn't really.
No.
It's got a little similar vibe, but it's a little more my liege. It's a little more yes, my liege.
It looks involved. I think the part of the beauty about Shelter is the simplicity.
Yeah, it has, you're going to be building a castle, so you're building upward, you're adding rooms, and they have resources, and you'll assign your serfs and vassals.
The opposite direction. They're going up
Completely
instead of down. It's so different. We're turning it on its head, quite literally.
But now you're making judgments and decisions and stuff too, like as the ruler.
No cats allowed.
I hate this rule.
All
I'm
cats
leaving.
allowed.
Yes. I want to give a quick shout out as well. I think he's listening right now, but a shout out to our friend Randy,
Absolutely.
a regular listener and participant in Discord. And he's been in the hospital for the last week, but we're sending him good thoughts. He should be out very soon, doing well. Yeah, just want to let you know we're thinking of you, Randy, and thanks for letting us know why you disappeared for a bit.
Oh, Randy, glad you're feeling a little bit better. Hopefully you're on the mend and back to normal here before too long, buddy.
Scorecation!
Mo wishes you well too.
Oh, you know what? One more thing. Bits are over, but there's a cool free Starfield mod coming that looks neat. It's Doom related, but it's a free mod. It looks like a really cool horror mod.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Coolio. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to get into tonight?
I mean, another game Map of the Wasteland, right?
Well, I actually have half of one prepared. I didn't have time to complete the third one, but I was going to bring 3. Oh, I'm crazy. I was going Mapital Crazy Wasteland. I'll play it. We'll play it next week.
Good. I approve of your Mapitalism.
Total map.
The American way.
Yep, absolutely. All right. In that case, if you would like to interact with Ray and Jess, please join our Discord. You can find a link right here in the show notes of this episode of your podcast player. Ray can also be found at RayLB, and you can find all of the No Man's Sky needs over there on his other podcast, The Butcher Baker Candlemaker in Space, at BBCISSS. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess can be found at Sleep is 4T, also Dames Who Game, and at You Wastelanders. Jess, thanks so much.
Pip, pip, cheerio. See you around, Governor.
Pip, cheerio. Good show, good show. I can be found in our Facebook group, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
It swings pretty fast.
Damp?
Yeah, they're damp. Or drenched.
Drenched.
Slip on your condom for protection.
We call them Jimmy hats. Have to rustle their jimmies.
It wasn't a man at all.
Very fun. Very hard.
It was hard.
I'm
hitting you hard, biting my ass.
To the scalding tang of each delicious mouthful.
I didn't have the first crash, but I did have the second crash.
Core blimey, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Then I clean up and take a nap.